Woo! What is up, YouTube? My Cowboys family here, bringing you guys the latest update on our very own Dallas Cowboys. And of course, as always, thank you so much for joining us here tonight. Take a second to hit like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, follow us on all social media at MyCowboysFamily, and of course, hop into our Discord. The link for that is in the description box down below. And as we get rolling here tonight, guys, of course, gotta give the love, the appreciation to the people helping to make things happen here at My Cowboys Family. As I jokingly heard today, it was almost Friday. So
a new week, guys, and a new team. You see them, the Angry Cardinals. Not the Angry Birds, the Angry Cardinals. Getting flung out there, slingshotted. We will discuss the first look tonight on this new opponent for us this week, and all the other news, info, and updates. Defense heavy. Jerry Jones spoke. Some offensive trickles with Dak Prescott, and so much more. But like you said, baby, let's kick it off with the people that make this thing go round and round. Round we go. From last week, champions, to this week, leaders. Represent it, baby. Who's in the house, and who is repping that sponsor of the week? Once again, back-to-back like our 90s Cowboys.
Mark Hovsepian.
Hell yeah.
A big mahalo to the man Mark, of course, representing there. And he's not the only one representing, right? You look up above, you got Jason Renfro with some Hendershot representation on the stream, boss. 89 points. Fully powered up. And by the way, not the Cowboys only ones going for 6. Snug X already has 6 weeks locked down as the Cash App
6
king.
weeks in a row. That streak continues. The all-time record's 20 by Jason Renfro. But Snug, you know, he's about a quarter, a little over a quarter there. Much love to Snug X. 6 weeks in a row. And a lot of people going to be on this board, and he was a last-second, kind of domination there by Snug X at the buzzer. But who's in the lead this week? Well, we got the name here for you guys. Roger Dat Asher in the house.
Thank you, Roger. Appreciate you, of course.
Yes, appreciate him. He's got that Cooper Rush on it, and we'll see who challenges that top spot. If Snug X comes back in there, you always got Jason Renfro lurking. So, David S. in the mix. Much love to everybody in the Cash App side of things. Roger Dat representing that side of things. You look at the overall board right now, trying to come for that sponsor of the week. It is John Montgomery.
Woo. Kicking
off the week right in first place. Much love to him. And, looking at the gifted memberships, one of the most important, ways of giving love to not just the channel, but the other family members in the channel here that don't have memberships. You can gift memberships. Last week it was Ron the Don Smith, who took over from the Lunatic, and he took over from Jason Renfro, and he took over from Skeptical Fans. So a long line of dominators and truly fantastic family members gifting memberships. This week there is no leader currently, no gifted memberships. And by the way, first time in like a month that we went under the 100 membership mark. A lot of these memberships fall off. Most people don't jump back in them or don't upgrade or nothing like that. So they fall off. We're into we're at the 95 membership mark right now. We were flowing up there, almost 150.
But if you do want to go ahead and check it out for yourself, the link is in the chat there as well. But there's a few other ways of dropping the love and showing the love, of course.
Pre-stream, you saw amazing games. Dropping that super chat here, pre-streaming it. What did he have to say, Mr. Amazing Games?
West Coast holla and a Go Cowboys.
Hell yeah.
Thank you so much, Amazing
Go Cowboys.
Games. I appreciate you.
Super chats. We talked about you got the membership. You can jump in there. We'll go shout out the silver the star and the over everything members in a minute. But you got the membership. You can jump. You could gift memberships like we just discussed. You can drop love in the thanks button after videos or live streams post. But there's 4 other ways you can get up in that Cash App side of the battle. How are those ways, baby?
Well, of course, you have it there. The Cash App money sign My Cowboys Family. The Venmo at My-Cowboys-Family. You have the regular PayPal link. Like you kind of saw Cap52 do the other day. Right through the Streamlabs link, which does your comment show up on screen, just like a super chat.
Also Brandon James did that. He's halfway to the top spot. So, he's still in the mix. He's halfway to the first place spot on the Cash App board, being in the going through the PayPal and going through the Streamlabs side of things. Venmo. So again, those are the ways you guys can still get on, not just the overall board, but the specific Cash App side. So much love to you guys there. And yes, we got to do the nightly shout outs for those ballers in the top shelf memberships. You got the Navy Blue crew and that silver level too. Much love. Silver level gets the Friday shout outs coming around the corner, but the nightly shout outs are for the star and over everything level members here. So, without further ado, Skeptical Fan, Jason Renfro, Dwayne Broussard, the Top Dog, Lincoln Kane all the way from Australia, Mary Alvarez, Mary, Andy Potts in the house, Ron the Don Smith, Marissa Sparkle, De Lunatic, the Godfather, and don't forget the Over Everything membership guy here. So far, the only one there. You know why he's here. Snug X in the house. Much love. Appreciate everybody in the house. Can't do this without you guys' love and support. You know, we give a little bit back here too. You got the monthly, and I do mean monthly, star level membership raffle. Keep that in mind. If you're in the star level or over everything level, once a month, early in the part of the month, if we're trying to do that, sewn and stitched jersey, one of the people in those memberships can win. Your choice is authentic, like the whole 9 yards. We have like 30 of these. I think we've had like 50 different winners over the 3 years of our channel. So if you want to get in that, monthly membership jersey raffle, star level over everything, and you don't only get, you also get, the navy blue and silver perks, but you get the upper level perks as well when you jump in those memberships. So again, much love to everybody in that star level membership and the over everything membership. Now you see us at full front here, ready to rock and roll some Cowboy news, info, and updates. Who's in the house tonight, baby?
We have El Fuego 2.0 in the house. Bruce got the toxic juice. What's up? Nate Rosario, hello and hi. Probably UCF. Go Knights, right?
Go Knights.
Double R, hello and hi. And by the way, your comment earlier about Lee Side cracked me up. He said, Lee Side must really be a Cowboy fan because I went into a Texas stream just to see if he was there.
Nowhere to be found. Nowhere to be found.
Couldn't find him. I went to a Cowboy stream, and guess where he was at?
He was there.
He was there. So,
he loves
obviously
our
he
Cowboys.
has his priorities correct as a
he loves the Cowboys.
Cowboy fan.
He's a
right?
Texas guy, right?
Oh, sorry, just that cracked me up so much. But Stephen White in the house, Johnny Mingo, hello and hi, much love. We have, who else is here? Rolling back a little bit, Daniel Berry Sports, hello and hi. Thomas Garrett, the Superior.
Woo.
Garrett, thanks for stopping by, rolling through. We have GOV. We're definitely looking good so far. So,
we're looking like the best team in the NFL. I'm going to talk about a little bit about the power rankings, but I'm going to touch on that.
Stream Boss said, I'm here representing Jason Renfro. Much love.
He is representing.
Skeptical fan, always. Stay skeptical, you already know. BCJ, hello and hi. Of course, amazing games rolling through. I think Freedom First was actually first today, so good for him. Kevin Bilbo, what's up? Hello and hi. Rolando Rodriguez, all the way from South Texas. Again, huge shout out to everyone here. I appreciate you all. But baby, let me not keep on chit-chatting because we have Cowboy things to talk about.
But first, we got some NFL things to discuss. The XFL and the USFL are in advanced talks to merge together into one league. This deal will be completed. It looks like it's going to be completed before the 2024 season. And that means it creates only one alternative football league versus the NFL. But they do power up. So, NFL is going to have to take on some competition, I guess, maybe. Also, a reminder, each of these leagues averaged about 600,000 viewers in 2023. And the XFL still lost $60 million. So, pretty expensive. They're merging and trying to at least be like the minor leagues for the NFL, I guess.
And the problem is that you have to remember, the advertising deals and other things really help a lot of these organizations stay fungible, let's call it. So I hope that they continue to hopefully do more advertising and sponsorship type of deals, but you'd think it'd be in the best interest of the NFL to maybe consider it, even if it is just for like practice squad level type players. But
hey, listen, we got Brandon Aubrey and Kavontae Turpin. So hey, we like it just the way it is.
I think they're just they just don't want to disrupt the college football industry. I genuinely think that's part of it.
I can agree with that too. I can see that point.
I mean, think about it. A system where you don't have to necessarily go to college to be able to try to get into the NFL.
And the two guys we got from the USFL, those two players we got, Kavontae Turpin, we know his route was far from the NFL with all the domestic stuff he had in his college days. And then you looked at Brandon Aubrey, who was in college. He was a soccer player in Notre Dame. The guy didn't even think about playing football until 2 years ago. So this is an example of the guys that can get in the NFL through a USFL, XFL kind of league situation. So anyways, there you go, guys. They're merging XFL and the USFL. Now, former NFL safety Sergio Brown, I don't know if anyone's heard about this. He was missing. He went missing after his mother, Myrtle Brown, was found deceased in a creek on Saturday.
Oh, shit.
And he was reportedly seen taking out trash and burning her clothing in a bonfire, according to footage taken off the doorbell ring camera of Carlos Cortez, a neighbor. Yeah, doesn't look good there. He disappeared. Again, a lot of people said they saw him taking out the trash, and then they saw him having a bonfire where he was burning her clothes. Family members of Sergio Brown reportedly told Cortez that he hasn't been acting like himself the past few months. This is CTE stuff.
Fuck.
I don't know, but then basically...
not a good look for the NFL.
Yeah.
This is another possible potentially deadly situation. I don't want to say it or speculate either, but damn.
Well, again, people close to him are saying that he was not himself the last few months, and that he was kind of going out of his mind a little bit. So, I mean, it's a horrible thing to think about here. I mean, a man killed his mother. Something going on at CTE football. Is he crazy? Is something else going on? But her death, his mother's death, Myrtle Brown, was ruled a homicide because of multiple wounds from an assault. So horrific there. And so we'll see what happens to Sergio Brown, former safety in the NFL. Now, another tragedy, you can say here, Patriots and Dolphins game. A Patriots fan, Dale Mooney, was beaten to death, basically, you can say, by a Dolphins fan on Sunday night during the game, right next to his son. Most of the fans surrounding them were filming it, taking the cameras out. I did see the fight. They really can't see much of it, but basically, I mean, he looked like he just, I don't know if he got knocked out, he passed out, and then he wasn't able to regain consciousness. So again, guys,
it's crazy to think that something as dumb as a random
game.
Drunken brawl at a football game, just because, again, I'm not saying this dad was drunk, just saying the other guy, I'm assuming, was at least under some kind of influence. Point is, that's what I'm saying. Like, it just, you hear about drunken stadium fights all the time.
We literally just had one in the Cowboy game against the Jets. It was a guy with a bloody face, and he had a bloody face for the Cowboys, and he was beating up two Jets guys. So look, I don't know, it's crazy. Hate to hear something like this, and you see a lot of fans getting their ass kicked every week. Every week there's fights going on in the stands. So it's not worth it, guys. It's not worth it. None of that stuff's worth it. So again, he was 30. He was a 30-year Patriots fan. I think he 30 not Patriots fan, a 30-year season ticket holder of the fans of the Patriots. And if I'm not mistaken, I think he was like 53, 52. He wasn't that old.
This is like a horrible PR image.
Yeah.
To
so
have
again,
a season ticket holder pass because of a stadium fight.
And so a father of two sons. His wife Lisa said, "quote My husband was the most generous, caring person, great dad and great husband." So again, a horrible story. I got to bring it up. I don't like to, but it is what's floating around the NFL right now. Now, yesterday's horrific injury to Nick Chubb. We all know he's out for the year. We told you guys that yesterday. Multiple torn ligaments, but safety Minkah Fitzpatrick. Some people are saying he kind of went at his knee on purpose. Either way, he was released from the hospital on Monday night, last night, after undergoing a precautionary scan. So what's believed to be a chest contusion. The scans were negative, and there's optimism that he will be fine moving forward. But again, when I hear chest contusion, you think of DeMar Hamlin. That's what happened to him, and he just, his heart stopped in the field.
I'm guessing maybe that's why they had him go to the hospital after it was confirmed that that's possibly what his injury could have been. I'm just saying, like, you have to imagine that Hamlin situation changed some kind of something in the NFL as far as their process. So yeah, let's go ahead and just bring him to the hospital, check him out. Make
At least
sure
we know what he's got.
Okay.
And he should be back and fine. But again, it's something you got to, that hit him in the wrong time, the wrong beat of the heart, the wrong situation. You can be out there like DeMar Hamlin as well. So thankfully, Minkah Fitzpatrick, whether he's going for his knee or not, that's a whole different topic. But we just make sure he's okay. And he is, as far as that chest contusion. Now, one last NFL bit of news. Former Cowboy, cornerback, currently with the Pittsburgh Steelers, not anymore though, Anthony Brown. Remember Anthony Brown? He tore his Achilles, remember, when he was at the Cowboys last year, was on Pittsburgh's practice squad, and today he got poached by maybe the biggest, the toughest opponent we have on our schedule, maybe the entire year, the San Francisco 49ers. Are they trying to pick his brain to figure out Dan Quinn's defense? It won't work. It won't matter. I mean, Anthony Brown can only do so much, and that defense has been altered since we upgraded our defense with guys like Stephon Gilmore. But, again, former Cowboy cornerbacks, Anthony Brown, the whole year he's been practice squad. Now he's on the Niners. I'm not worried. I mean, some people are out there saying, "Oh no, they're gonna steal." Please, this ain't nothing more than padding your last cornerback spot. Something that we would have had to do if we didn't have so much talent right now at cornerback. So again, he's on the 53-man roster. When you get a guy and you poach him off a practice squad, you must keep him on your squad for 4 weeks. You can't cut him. You can't. I mean, I guess you can cut him, but you can't put him on your practice squad. He has to stay on your 53-man roster for 4 weeks. And if you count ahead, baby, you look ahead. I mean, take a look at when we play them. Again, week 5, Cowboys and Niners. Again, you're looking at week 3, week 4, week 5. And week 6 are the 4 weeks that you will see Anthony Brown have to be with that team, with the Niners. So we will meet him. If he's an active player on the active roster, we will meet him there at San Francisco week 5 in 3 weeks, he will be there no matter what happens, unless he sucks so bad or gets injured, they have to cut him or something like that. So well, I hope he's out there playing on the field. I hope he's out there because that means we know how to beat him. Most of the league does as well, but we really know how to beat an Anthony Brown guy. All you got to do is make him put a little hands on you, get a little contact. Those flags come flying when Anthony Brown's in coverage. Now, this is Cowboy centric 100%, but it's not for a current situation. Today, there were 8 Dallas Cowboys among the 2024 Hall of Fame nominees. Now, of course, they should all get in there. First of all, maybe yes, but never going to get. This is not going to be a Cowboy only kind of thing, right? So this has 8 guys that maybe 1 or 2 might sneak in there if we're extra lucky. So here's some names, baby. I'm going to break them out for you here. But the 8 names, Cowboy legends that maybe can sneak into the Hall of Fame. I think it was like 160 different players, 70 different players. Remember, it gets down to like 8 or 6 in the end.
Yeah,
so you don't
hard to whittle that list down. But
so right now we got 8 guys at the starting line here. Tony Romo, I don't think he gets in. Daryl Moose Johnson, fullback, great, but I don't think he gets in. Nate Newton, you never know, right? Mark Stepnowski, probably not. Leroy Glover, probably not. Keith Brooking, he made it on the list, but yeah, not going to make it as a Cowboy. Eric Williams, who I believe so far has the best chance to make it out of that group. Ken Norton Jr., great player, but I don't think he's going to make it yet. And the guy who needs to make it, who must make it representing that star of everything, is safety Darren Woodson. Remember, he was a finalist last year. Mm-hmm. So I think Woodson gets the hell in. If you look at the numbers, you cannot deny it. He deserves to be in there before some guys that are already in now.
And I hate to be that person, but it definitely feels like a game of one of these things is not like the other, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's questions about all those other guys I mentioned. Maybe Eric, Eric Williams, I think he's a guy who could get in there. But outside of a couple of, again, I'm not even saying 100%. There's no other guy in that squad of 8 guys I just mentioned. And there's some guys that maybe should be in eventually. But the guy who should have been in already is Darren Woodson. Facts, case closed, done deal. Tell me if anyone disagrees with that, please. I mean, I think we're on the same page there.
I agree. So, by the way, ZamDFW said yes. So, again, they just keep taking hits and keep on getting hit. So it's definitely going to be interesting to see some of the things that we get to see from our side of the ball, right? Offensively and defensively, heading up against the Cardinals. So number one thing is just staying healthy, right? And we do have a few injury updates on our side as well. So rolling back a little bit before that, Double R said, good grief. Trash talk will always be, but to kill a man for it is very sad.
And it wasn't purposely.
Go out to his wife and family.
Yeah, same here. But again, no one was going to die. I'm sure the guy who punched him wasn't trying to kill him, but get in a fight, you hit the guy wrong, you never know what happens. And this case was one of those rare cases. Someone, was fatally, killed by a punch, let's just say, or at least a beating of some sort. So as we move on to more current Cowboy stuff, power rankings. We say here at MyCowboysFamily, we always said it. Say it with us. Fuck the power rankings. The only power ranking that counts, who wins that Super Bowl. We want that 6. So, we got 5, but we want that 6, as you can see. Power rankings, of course, they're starting to give us a little more respect. They, as in the media. Although there's some, we'll talk how the media is also continuously moving the goalposts and disrespecting this team, especially our quarterback, but that comes a little later. Power rankings right now, when you're looking at almost every outlet out there, the Cowboys are no worse than 4th in the power rankings. You look at NFL.com is the one that put us. Last week we were 4th. This year This week we're still. Last week we were 4th. This year, this week we are still 4th place on their list. USA Today kept us at 3rd both weeks in a row. Yahoo, they went from had us at 4th, moved us up to 3rd. CBS Sports had us at 5th, moved us up to 2. Sports Illustrated had us at 2, put us at 1. Athletic put us at 1 from the last 2 weeks. ESPN had us at 4, got us at 2. And I'll keep going with this, guys, because you look at Fox NFL, their power rankings, they got the Niners number 1, the Cowboys number 2. Then you look at the PFT, Pro Football Talk, who had us 6th, but there was some losing teams that were in front of us. Well, we now are 1st on their list. The Niners are 2nd on this list with the Dolphins, Eagles, and Chiefs rounding out the top 5. So just looking at this, obviously the Cowboys got a lot more respect here after that Jets win. And, I don't blame the people giving them more praise. But again, this team that can't worry about power rankings. We can, as fans, we cannot worry about power ranking. That means shit. It means nothing. It means someone's opinion thinks we're good. Great. We think we're good. That's great. What matters is what we do on that field, and getting that trophy is all that matters. Trust me when I say this. Long season. Now, let's start, though. Week 2, 2 weeks down, right? We're entering week 3 here with the Cardinals. We're in week 3. There's about, 9 undefeated teams, I think, right now? The Atlanta Falcons, Baltimore Ravens, the Dallas Cowboys, the Miami Dolphins, the New Orleans Saints, the Philadelphia Eagles, San Francisco 49ers, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and the Washington Commanders. You know what they all have in common there? Almost all of them. 7 of the 9 teams I just mentioned are all in the NFC, which is, again, the worst. I mean, again, we got to win our games. We're going to be fine. But the thing I wanted to, as I told you guys at the beginning of the year, I just want other NFC teams to keep losing to the AFC teams, and that has not been happening right now. Not so far. The Cowboys, the Niners, the Eagles, the Commanders, the Saints, the Bucks, and the Falcons, the only ones that are not there are the Ravens and the Dolphins. They're the only 2-0 undefeated teams in the AFC. Now, they have a lot easier route there to get that first seed, one of those 2 teams, Baltimore or the Dolphins. We got 7, I think, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 teams we got fighting for that first seed. I mean, that's all the playoff teams, boom, right there. So they're all 2-0 currently. This is the first time in NFL history that 7 teams in any conference have started 2-0 in the same season. That's just a hard thing to do. NFC right now is rocking shit, not just at the top, but all the way down to every playoff team undefeated-wise, if it was today, of course, right? So, again, when you look at the way the Cowboys have been rolling, and I know we're going to talk a little Jerry Jones here in a minute, but there's some charts coming out today about offensive and defensive EPA. I'm not going to break down the EPA stuff. I know that's confusing for some people. Even for me, it gets convoluted into stats and numbers. I'm not doing that. But I do want to say that what does that mean, these EPA? We're going to call it offensive efficiency, defensive efficiency. How efficient you are on down distance, how efficient you are at getting, positive plays, positive yards, in needy times. Right now, guys, the Cowboys are by far the most efficient defense in the NFL. The closest team, and they're a little bit back, are the Cleveland Browns. And the next team after that, I think it's the Niners. It's so low on the list that you can't even tell. It's like the Cowboys way up top, the Browns next, a bit back, and then the Niners way back. So, again, Cowboys are dominating on defense as of now. On offense, we're not too bad, guys. The Dolphins are the most efficient offense currently. Dak is like the most efficient quarterback, but the most efficient offense is the Dolphins. You got also the Niners in the mix here. So again, that's what makes them so dangerous with Purdy back there being very efficient. You get the Chargers, the Rams, Packers, the Bills, the Ravens, and then the Cowboys. So still easily a top 10 offense in efficiency. And we got a top 1 quarterback, the number 1 quarterback in efficiency. So a great chart for the Cowboys, a greatness on defense, of course, eliteness on defense, greatness on offense. When it comes to efficiency, it's good news there for our Cowboys. So, baby, before we get into the offense and defense and getting a first look at the Cardinals in tonight's kind of quicker streams, and make sure you guys post your comments down below. Drop your love if you're going to do that tonight. You want to gift memberships, all that good stuff. Make sure you guys get it done a little earlier tonight because we are going to get out of here a little bit quicker as we're kind of going to hear from Jerry Jones on some major updates. So any quick comments in the chat, though? Quick comments in the chat, though.
Let me see. Harold Jones said, is Dak wearing a Jedi Survivor patch on his jersey?
No, that's the Man of the Year patch. I'm pretty sure if that's the one you're talking about with the Walter Payton Man of the Year. He won it last year.
That one.
He wears it the entire season.
Yeah, what's up, Traveling Fools, Harold Jones, but we have Jason Renfro, Getting Money saying, fuck, Tony Romo should not be a Hall of Famer.
Tony Romo? I mean, again...
I think that if he is, it should definitely be in a little bit longer. I think it's a little too early for that. I think that the competition also has to be relatively weak.
Yeah, I agree.
Just throwing that out there.
I think maybe one day he'll get there. Maybe as a senior or something. Who knows? But either way, I mean, I think it'll take some time.
I agree.
To get in there. Just because, like you said, weak crew,
if
maybe.
He even makes it, by the way.
Yeah, so. Weak crew, maybe, but again, I don't see how he gets in there.
So, let me see. Why like soft games?
Definitely not this year.
Jason Renfro said, I don't care about the power rankings, but I think it is time they show us the respect and acknowledgement.
Well, they're doing that. Well, they're doing that now, right? But you know what's going to happen? You know what happens, though? We struggle against any team going forward here. and they drop us the fuck out of there. So don't get mad when they disrespect this. They're just waiting to disrespect us again. Don't get mad. Don't let that bother you. It's the media. Who cares? I'm going to tell you how shitty the media is in a minute here and how they play to your guys and our feelings about our team. We cannot let the media dictate how we feel. We got to really look at things without all that noise and try not to look at it with so much bias. Pro-Cowboy. Let's look at the real good, bad, and ugly. That's what we did here for years and years and years, and we're doing it. Obviously, we do it all the time. The fact that we're so excited about the fact that the bad can be fixed and the ugly, still a little bit of ugly is around, but we know that we're still killing these teams the way we are and not playing to our fullest potential. The sky's the limit for this team, baby.
Ooh, Haley94 Ware, that's a great point. He said maybe isn't a sports announcer for Tony Romo. Maybe that's how he makes it.
Well, he could, but that would be like a whole different. Yeah, that would be another. I think 20 years from now he would get in with that way. Could happen, I guess, but
basically he still has a chance.
He has a long way to go.
Make it due to his current career.
True,
which is a good point.
But I still think that probably has a better chance of making it as a quarterback as of this moment. He needs that 20 years of announcing to be a legend, and then he gets in.
So, by the way, thank you, Aztec Aguilar 04 for rolling through here as well. The Commanders are definitely, or whatever the heck they're calling themselves now, are definitely going to be receiving the shock of their lifetime very, very soon.
I can't wait till we get the Washington Commanders and any of the. I can't wait till we get the Niners, and I can't wait to get the Eagles.
I think Thomas Garrett has a good attitude about it. He said, "I don't care about the power rankings. If you want to get into the playoffs, and it sure as hell won't get you a Lombardi trophy."
Yeah, it won't get you in the playoffs, power rankings, and it won't get you a Lombardi trophy. You know what gets you in there? Hard work. Good football play, no mistakes, and no bitching and complaining, whining. We know I had a refs check tonight. Tell me, guys, the last 2 weeks we haven't broken down these refs and really made a difference in the way we watch these games. As fans, we understand it's not that they're cheating or they hate us. It's the fact that we got to prepare better against these refs. And I think McCarthy's looking at the same thing we're looking at. Because we knew the first week they were going to be a little tighter on the calls and they don't call that much. They let things go. You know what I'm saying? And they're not really calling. And this last week they were much tighter, I should say, on these calls and calling a lot more things, especially in holding or pass interference, which we were great at. That's a clean offense we had there. So that's a difference there. That's a big thing. You want to clean up the penalties. You can practice all day. You got to be able to know who your ref crew is. Anyways, let me keep it going here, baby, because actually you're going to keep it going. Because we got a guy here appearing here with us tonight named Jerry Jones. Glory hole man here. So again, guys, he was asked today about the Jim Trotter racial discrimination lawsuit on 105.3 The Fan. He went through a whole long discussion on that yesterday, I think, or 2 days ago, right?
Yeah, I touched on all of that.
Yeah, that was a whole. But again, this was today though, so he went over that again, talked about that again, and spoke about a couple other things like injury updates. So, baby, what did Jerry Jones say about our injury situation with our players?
He said, when you name those three, and I'm thinking that we have parts of the game that we didn't have those three in there.
No, I think you're all over the place, my love.
No, that's the injury updates.
Oh, well, okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I thought you started in a different spot. The reason I'm saying that is because we're talking about the people he's speaking about. The three people he's talking about is Brandon Cooks, Tyler Smith, Brandon Cooks with the knee issue, right? Tyler Smith with the hamstring, and Zach Martin, who had that ankle rolled on, the groin in practice last week, the ankle, in the actual game itself towards the end.
He names them all.
All right, I just wanted to, because it just sounded weird, like it sounded like we just came out the blue there. Anyways, go ahead.
I mean, I know that's why I want to just finish the rest of the quote.
Hit it up.
But he said, when you named those three, and I'm thinking we had parts of the game, we didn't have those three in there, and yet we had that kind of game, it blows my mind. Of course, we're holding our breath, waiting on Tyler Smith. He's got a shot and got a real shot for Sunday. And then, of course, you know what Cooks means to this thing and means to us out there the other day by not having him. And that was even more impressive how we stepped up with our passing game. But Cooks, I'm anticipating that he was close there Friday or Saturday when we were checking him out. He was close to playing. So I think we can see those guys working in this week, and all of them we were talking about. And Martin doesn't look like he's going to miss much time as far as I can tell.
So, again, you see Brandon Cooks here. We heard about the Zach Martin situation. Again, not going to miss much time, meaning practice time, not even game time. So he should be back Thursday, like we heard from McCarthy. Everything's still on target and on path for Zach Martin. Good news, again, not going to miss playing time after rolling the ankle. And I also love, I know I kind of didn't really show him even, but Tyler Smith. Great news, guys. Tyler Smith is going to be back in this game, it sounds like. Knocking on wood here. Let me make sure I do that. Because, again, he said Tyler Smith has a real shot to play on Sunday. Again, for some reason he doesn't, you'll see him against the Patriots next week. But that's great news there. Brandon Cooks, of course, he also mentioned multiple times, really most of the time he's mentioned Brandon Cooks. Great news there. Again, Cooks was close to playing last week, so he should play this week as well. It sounds like everything's going the right direction when it comes to our injuries. Whew. Okay, the only guy I got left to think about here is Donovan Wilson, who I believe was also close to playing and will play this week against the Cardinals, and Josh Dobbs over there, their quarterback. So we'll talk about that more. I'm sure we'll know more about Donovan Wilson as the week progresses. But that was the injury update side of things. I think then we had, the kind of offensive, Jerry Jones offensive breakdown of Mike McCarthy and Dak Prescott, right? I mean, so far this year, Dak has yet to throw an interception, Dak Prescott. Across those 62 attempts he has, 62 throws, no interceptions. Fired Kellen Moore, of course, replaced by Brian Schottenheimer. And, there was some need for change. Play calling is where it happened with Mike McCarthy. So, baby, what did Jerry Jones say? This was today, guys, in his weekly appearance on Shan and RJ. So what did he say about this situation with Dak, the offense, Mike McCarthy, play calling?
I don't know if I've ever seen anything so well covered about how deliberate we were to change some things. We obviously went in a different direction relative to our play caller. We could do that because Mike was there. But then you have to go in the right direction, so to speak, and to take what we have in Dak Prescott, which is such a positive, with the kind of experience he's got and the kind of time he's had with the staff and with Mike. You've got to technically step in there and do it. Well, you can see it in the way that it came together out there on Sunday. You can see the adjustments that we have made from the last year, and you can see the approach and what Dak is trying to do. I think Mike, as of this past weekend, should take a bow, so to speak, because his fingerprints are already all over that game the way we played it out there Sunday.
Yeah, he was asked, why these changes and these adjustments around Dak Prescott were needed, over this offseason, and, the guidance of Mike McCarthy, and kind of, again, like we've been saying, play to the skill set of your player, of your quarterback. And Jerry Jones kind of said it was more of a compliment. Not a compliment like you're giving a compliment, but a compliment situation to compliment Dak Prescott and make things better for him. So what did Jerry Jones expand about that when it comes to Mike McCarthy's play calling for Dak Prescott specifically?
He said, well, let me put it this way. The thing that we're seeing, and this is just almost obvious as obvious, you're doing it because it's Dak. A lot of players might not have made these adjustments, whether they're nuances or they're significant, but we knew Dak Prescott was the best we had ever seen at taking these adjustments, if you will, or playing the game that we're playing. We knew he's the best we've ever seen at taking it from the classroom to the practice field to the game plan. And of course, that's what you're seeing out there.
Again, I want to remind everybody, even Tony Romo, who's really hard on the team and extremely hard on Dak Prescott, that's fine. But he even said the footwork. Dak talked about the timing with the receivers and his footwork from Mike McCarthy.
And how McCarthy, that was like all McCarthy too.
Yeah, so that's kind of what Jerry Jones is saying here, that Dak is able to adjust in the classroom, learn in the mind, and bring it to the field in a way that not many quarterbacks can do. And that processing time from the field, from the classroom to the field, is what Jerry Jones, of course, he's going to hype things. He's going to hype everything. He's going to hype a piece of crap that Dak takes. But my point is that it is true what he's saying, that Dak's processing, again, this switched over with the footwork change. It's a huge change in the scheme. Yes, there's some parts of it that are still the same, but it is a big change for Dak. Never done this in his career. And the way he's taken to it, even though there's some bumps, in my opinion, still much smoother than anyone could have expected so quickly. I think from even the Joneses and McCarthy side of things. So I love what McCarthy, I said that was the key this year, was not defense. And defense, obviously, the key, the best part of our team. The kicker, and we talked about Dak, but the biggest part of this whole fucking thing is Mike McCarthy. I don't even love Mike McCarthy, but it was his play calling that would, scheme our offense around the skill set of our players and whoever we have. Brandon, we got some good players. We got some players that maybe, we got some offensive line depth issues. We got some stuff going on, but hey, we're making it work through the Mike McCarthy game plan on offense. And that, I think, is I mean, the other key was Jerry Jones allowed it to happen.
Yeah, I mean,
finally allowed it because last year he with Kellen Moore and with Lenahan and with Garrett. I'm telling you guys, maybe you guys want to believe it. I mean, I need to get more proof somehow, but you saw it in the Hard Knocks. You saw the behind the scenes stuff and that other thing that they had on Prime Video, whatever. You saw these things that Jerry Jones was basically saying, I want to run this kind of offense. I want to give the ball to Ezekiel Elliott. I want to make sure Dak throws a lot more. These things are like not hallucinations. This is what Jerry Jones is saying, and Kellen Moore obliged. Mike McCarthy is not. Mike McCarthy took that and said, I'm going to do what fits best for this offense. Even if you're paying him $40 million, we're going to maybe play him like a $20 million quarterback, and we're going to win. And Jerry Jones had to allow that to happen. He's been fighting that for fucking 12, 13 years. We finally got to see it. So thank you, Jerry Jones, for that part of things. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I mean, I was trying to say that, one of the things that I thought was kind of slick by Jerry was, of course, he was asked about, maybe some of Dak's not so great offensive moments, but instead he turned it around and said, no, it's because of Dak that we're reshuffling the offense, but it's a good thing. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I think he did a great job of trying to put that spin on it, where, to me, I just take it as more of like a neutral type of thing. Like, I don't know. I don't think it's anything wrong with saying that we're creating an offensive scheme that leans towards our strengths and away from the things that make our quarterback turn over the ball, especially when last year we had so many turnovers with Dak specifically. So,
attacking aggressively with the Kellen Moore offense.
Dak already
that's what happens.
Addressed it himself directly, so I'm assuming that's another reason why Jerry maybe didn't bring it up directly himself. He didn't need to. Exactly.
I mean, Mike McCarthy.
That kind of stuff is below him.
Mike McCarthy, Dak Prescott, Steven, everybody said this already. So, when it comes to Dak Prescott to start the season, no turnovers, 71% completions. And Jerry Jones, of course, like you just said, gave Mike McCarthy huge credit and Dak Prescott credit, willing to make changes with the offense and some techniques that were kind of already the way Dak did things, the way Jerry Jones did things. Mike McCarthy was allowed to do more. And that's what basically, I'm telling you, paraphrasing, but that's what Jerry Jones said today. Among all the positives of the Cowboys 2-0 start, Jerry Jones did say something that we all know needs improving. Again, I said stopping the run on defense was one of the main things.
Yeah.
They did that great against the Jets. We got to continue to stay on that, though. Mobile quarterbacks on defense, that's another thing, I guess. Dobbs is a little bit more mobile, so great. We're going to have a good little test there, but my point is, there's really no weaknesses on the defense. But I will say, on the offense, getting crisper and cleaner is, of course, that's big, but the red zone. That's the part that we seemed almost too cautious. I believe it was more because of the Jets' defense, and we didn't want to risk anything, per Mike McCarthy. And Dak Prescott followed along, and he did it that same, he did not take any chances in the coverage that the Jets had. But when you look at, like, the way that the I guess you could say the red zone went, I think you're going to see, when against worse defenses, like the Cardinals, you're going to see a more attacking Mike McCarthy and a better red zone offense. Just watch. You'll see. It's smart football play calling. A tough defense, you don't take chances. A weaker defense, you take the chances. And you'll get the touchdowns 90% of the time. You'll see. It's going to happen this week, in my opinion. So, again, got to improve red zone scoring. I believe is not something that's an issue. I think it's a choice. I truly do. And Jerry Jones said, quote, that's where we need to get better. Again, guys, the Cowboys have run 30% of their plays in the red zone this year. 30%. That's a third, almost a third of our fucking plays in the red zone. The league average is 15%. So we are in the red zone a lot. So we get those points, guys. We would have 80 points right now, 90 points in 2 games.
I was just about to say, I think
crazy.
The saddest part is we had 2 very high-scoring games by all accounts, right?
Yeah, and we could have gotten a lot more. A lot more. We could have had another 12,
we really did leave quite a few points there on the board, but at the same time, I think Scorpio said it best here. The main plan is we score first, keep the pressure on the other team. If we're up, it forces them to throw the ball more, which means interceptions for our defense. And then later in the game, we run to rest them.
I thought about this. Good point there, and I thought about this. By the way, we haven't achieved much success in the red zone, but I think here's the cool thing. I think, you remember the issues we've had in years past with those first drives?
Yeah.
Why is that? Do you know why?
I mean, it always, again, if I recall correctly, at least when it was the Kellen Moore era and the Jason Garrett era and stuff, those first scripted plays ended up being either relatively high pace, but then kind of, I don't know, falling apart somewhere, or again, just really stupid, dumb.
Feels mismanaged by Kellen Moore. But you know what? I think Mike McCarthy wanted to see, and again, maybe not, it's going to be like this every game. I personally like the defense on the field first. You know why? Mm-hmm. Because our defense gets out there, just scares the shit out of them, and then kind of wrecks the initial game plan. We get the ball back, and we get those points. We get that ball in the second half. But I think McCarthy, what he's trying to do is use those scripted plays, because this team is not going to know any of these fucking plays. I'm telling you, McCarthy has a full script, a new script. I'm thinking almost all the plays in that script and that game plan is practiced all week for different teams every week. You know what I'm saying? Tweaked for those teams. So what I'm trying to say is probably the hardest time to stop us is that first drive. So he wants to go out there and get those points. He's confident that this offense can get that first score, right? We might have to play a little bit, slower the rest of the game on offense. But you get that first touchdown, scripted plays, and now you kind of set the tone already. Now you got your defense out there. Now the other team's shitting bricks. And that's, I think, McCarthy tried that against the Jets. We'll see. Is it because they have a good defense? Is it, I'm curious to what the reasoning is for this. Whatever it is, I'm trusting the two groups here. Mike McCarthy and the coaching staff, and the newly revamped analytics department. John Parks, Sarah Malapalli, these people are really upgrading. We got the best analytics team out there, so maybe they know something as well. Jets, maybe on the first drive, they're not really good on defense. They break down easier on that first drive. These are things I don't know, but this is maybe what they know. And so Mike McCarthy said, I'm trusting in these people. I'm trusting in this staff, this new crew, which is top rated in the NFL, and that helped as well, I think. So, hey, I'm just throwing out ideas, guys. This is all MCF, just throwing out some ideas.
So, you guys are all bringing up a great point. Rich just got to say we were scored on a touchdown from Pollard, but a flag took it away.
I remember.
So, and actually, I do want to stand corrected, because I can't remember if it was yesterday or maybe after the game, but Mr. MCF and I both were under the mistaken impression that Dak only had one touchdown in the air.
Yeah, it's two of them. It's two tight ends.
So
Ferguson and Schoonmaker. Schoonmaker was so non-memorable. We forgot about it.
Exactly. So, but that was it.
Nothing against Schoonmaker is because of the fucking flag that delayed the refs. Didn't get
if anything, it just goes to show you, let us have the proper amount of hype. And it seems like Schoonmaker is starting to, find his role here in this tight end room.
McCarthy is finding a way. He has a plan for Schoonmaker. I know we can be really hard on McCarthy right now about Schoonmaker. I'm sure that's his pick. But I think there's a specific role for Schoonmaker in the specific Mike McCarthy scheme. Whatever it is, he's put all his eggs in that basket, and let's give him a little more time. Let's get those eggs hatch. So anyways, as I keep it rolling here, baby, and I am going to keep it going here if you don't mind, since, we're good. So you talked about Tony Pollard, guys. NFL rushing leaders through week 2. Christian McCaffrey, 268 yards. Second on this list, Bijan Robinson, the rookie, 180 yards. I mean, that's a big break there between Christian McCaffrey and Bijan Robinson. So, again, McCaffrey's in first place in the NFL by a lot as the leading rusher. DeAndre Swift from the Eagles, 178. Nick Chubb, he's done now, 170. James Cook, 169. Connor, 168. Raheem Mostart at 158. Brian Robinson, Derrick Henry, Jerome Ford at 142 yards. Tony Pollard tied for 10th with 142 yards. So Tony Pollard in this Mike McCarthy offense currently tied for 10th in the best rushing yards this year. And I don't even think he didn't feel like he did much. He had like 60 and 70 yards. That's all he had. It's like, 270-yard games puts him on the top 10 list for running backs right now. Receiving leaders. Now, we know CeeDee Lamb's the man right now. Number 1, though, with 309 yards, Justin Jefferson. Number 2, Puka Nakua, who's breaking records there as a rookie.
I'm not surprised that CeeDee isn't higher, just because, remember, we haven't been in a position where we've been forced to use him like that.
Yeah, but still, he hasn't. He had one really good. He had one really good game, but the other one was in the rain. So again, Tyreek Hill, 255 yards. Mike Evans, 237. Nico Collins, 226, and then CeeDee Lamb in 6th with 220 yards. Even with the lackluster Week 1 game,
still very solid.
Had a really big game this week, and he's going to keep getting bigger games with Dak teamed up with him. He's 6th, just kicking off the year. Just let him keep going. He's going to pass Nico Collins and guys like, I don't think Mike Evans is going to keep it up. Tyreek Hill will be tough. Justin Jefferson is tough. Paul Nakua, he's a rookie. So I'm just saying, I think CeeDee Lamb is going to be top 3 on this list. You know what I mean? Somewhere in there, eventually. Now, what about we're going from we talked about Dak, we talked about running backs, we talked about receivers. What about the offensive linemen? Zach Martin, Tyler Biadasz, and Tyron Smith this year in 2 games have been insane. when it comes to pass protection. What I mean by that is Tyron Smith, as we already know, 68 pass protection snaps, 1 pressure allowed in 2 games. Same thing, Zach Martin, 69, 1 more. Pass protection snap for Zach Martin, 1 pressure allowed. So, I mean, Tyron Smith, Zach Martin, and then Tyler Biadasz. Let's throw him in there. 70 pass protection snaps. So he's got 1 more than Zach Martin. 2 pressures allowed from the center, the Pro Bowl center. So solid. And again, no Tyler Smith yet. We're going to plug him in maybe this week. Terrence Steele had, he tripped and fell last game and allowed a hit on Dak, which actually gave us a first down. But that, Terrence Steele's been playing fantastic, especially in the run blocking side of things. So great job by our Cowboy team and on offense, even though we can still literally do a lot better. And I want to go back to Dak for a second. So McCarthy, he's on the scene there, crispy and clean. But we got to talk about little Dak Prescott here. No, not just about Dak's new girl. All right, we already talked about her, but about Dak Prescott himself. So as we say bye to his new girl, and hopefully she helps him through things. I'll put Dak up here.
She's been very supportive through this week 1 and 2 challenges we've faced so far.
Yeah, no,
I do say that slightly sarcastically, just because, again, we just absolutely rocked the entire state of New York.
He's getting a little rusty, though, out there. He's getting less rusty as every, I think, snap goes through.
Oh, yeah.
This week 2 game again, we're past the week 2 game, but the Jets game, but the thing is, we still got to look at that for a little bit to see, kind of, I believe a little bit more of things we could take out of that game and kind of keep pushing forward and evolving into these other games going forward. So, just so you guys know, just a little quick fact about this game. The most watched program on any network since Super Bowl 57 was the Cowboys-Jets game. 25.78 million viewers. Again, who doubts that? I mean, Dak Prescott and the Cowboys, the star in the helmet. It always brings in everything. Now,
it's just a regular season game.
Brian Schottenheimer said that Dak Prescott, I don't have really a lot of quotes from him yet. I'm sure tomorrow maybe it'll come out more. But he said that Dak Prescott, quote, saw the field really well yesterday. And that was no lie, guys. He handled pressure well. He had a lot of decisiveness when he threw some of those passes. That one on the 2-yard line, on their own 2-yard line. And he hit CeeDee Lamb. That was a decisive pass in like triple coverage. And he split them all. He put it in a spot where it was a little behind CeeDee Lamb on purpose, because if he puts it on his hands, it's picked, in the lane. So great job by Dak, decisive throws. And again, he also was kept safe by McCarthy in the game plan multiple times. All right. So, of course, Dak did have an issue, of course, in the, in that one play with Sauce Gardner where he almost got picked. And, Sauce Gardner asked...
To be fair, not just a pick, almost a pick 6. So
yeah, exactly.
We know the pain hurts a little bit more maybe for the Jets. Too.
I had, he on that Sounds of the Sideline or NFL Network, NFL Inside the NFL, they actually have the meeting in the field and then talking about that play. Because we know about them talking about he has to catch it. That was like CeeDee Lamb and Micah Parsons saying he's got to catch that. But Dak Prescott actually talked with him. And Sauce Gardner asked Dak after the game why he didn't throw at him more often. And Dak said, quote, "I didn't need to. If I need to, I will, but I didn't need to. Why challenge the best player on their team?" And that is the Mike McCarthy mindset. I love how Dak, the great thing about Dak is he'll accept and absorb every coach. And Jason Garrett, you got that fucking bullshit out. He accepts it. He loves it. You got the, Lenahan offense. He loves it. You got the Kellen Moore. He loves it. Now he's got McCarthy's out, and you can feel it that he loves it because he always loves it. But my point is it flows through his veins, and now he's going to become part of that scheme, and it's going to work for McCarthy in a big way and for this offense.
Well, that's why I said that it's so critical that Dak is in the right system. We've known it since the day he came in here.
Correct.
He will listen to his coaches.
Yes.
I know for some people that's like
from
a
the classroom
crazy
to
thing
the
to
field.
say, but yeah, Jerry even said it. Yep. So if you teach him wrong, he's going to do it wrong.
Yep. This is about the coaches. Right, yeah.
There's an increased chance that he's going to do it right. So already, just the basic syncing of the footwork to the receiver routes, that alone has paid off crazy amounts of dividends.
Big time.
I'm assuming that's maybe one of the reasons, too, we might see Dak maybe make not so great decisions and stuff like that, just because, remember, maybe he gets out of the rhythm or he's trying to find that rhythm again or whatever it is.
The way McCarthy keeping him safe is by making it 2-step processes and then decisiveness and then dump down, if nothing else.
Yeah,
it's all decisive.
That play that should have been intercepted.
Yeah, he had no problems.
It's been
he had a couple
very safe game as far as potential for turning the ball over.
Well, the thing, we have a complaint with Dak. And that was the first game in the rain. He was a little sloppy there.
Yeah.
The second game, he still had a couple of passes, could have been more perfect, right? But, he played very well, made some great decisions. He was 13 for 13, starting off the best in his career. But, there's an analytic out there called the off-target rate for the quarterbacks. Quarterback off-target rate, which means how many overthrows, underthrows. These are things Dak is known for. This is not including spiking the ball, so they're not including that. And throwaways, they're not including that as well. But through 2 games, you got 32nd quarterback in the league is Deshaun Watson. He's doing it 27.6% of the time. He's off. Jordan Love with the Packers, 23.1. Pickett from the Steelers, 22.2. Bryce Young from the Panthers, 21.9. These are throws that are overthrown or underthrows. Richardson from the Colts. These are a lot of rookies here, 28th on the list, 21.7%. You know who's number 1 on this list that does it the least? You know it is. Put it down drop those freaking emojis for Dak. Dak Prescott, only 8.1% of the time. Dak is the best quarterback at not overthrowing and underthrowing passes. I know it looks weird to our eyes. Can we believe it? But why would an analytic want to lie for Dak, right? It's not. You're seeing the fact that, these stats are stats, and not looking at who is the player. And Dak rarely overthrows or underthrows balls according to these analytics. He's number 1 in the NFL. That's crazy to me.
Now, I want to clarify something, too, because I'm assuming that also just means, they were in that generally catchable range.
I mean, again, it's
right?
not like horribly overthrown or horribly underthrown. I think that's more the way to say it. They say overthrown, underthrown, but what does that define? Let's assume it's horribly overthrown, uncatchable, or horribly underthrown, uncatchable. Dak does not do that. He's number 1 in the league at the horribly underthrown and overthrown passes. Mm-hmm. And don't listen to what those Dak haters are saying, on the team, fans or not. They're just hating because they feel like they don't like Dak. They want him out, so they'll throw on extra shit. Like you saw today in the media. We'll talk about that in a minute. In a minute, no joke. But anyways, those are the off-target throws. Dak's number 1 at not doing that. Now, moving on from, I guess you can say, I guess I won't stay with Dak because this really helped the blocking, really helped Dak. And I'm talking about not just the pass line, but the run blocking. The Cowboys had a clinic with a lot of reps in this last game against the Jets in the run zone scheme side of things through Solari and Schottenheimer. Really impressive how in sync, when we noticed this looking at the film, Tyron Smith and his guard, Chuma Edoga, they've only been practicing for 2 weeks. How in sync they were, giving their practice time together. It's actually been like a week and a half maybe they've had at most. Fantastic. So big job, great job there by the offensive lineman. And I saw Scorpio write about TJ Bass. I mean, he whiffed the block on Quinnen Williams, but then he locked him down. And I think that, it's undrafted guy's going to have an occasional miss like that. But man, he does a great job run blocking. He did a solid job pass blocking. Got to give him credit. Got to give Chuma Edoga credit. Got to give Austin Richards credit. Got to give Will McClay credit for counting these guys and bringing these fantastic,
they're going to sound like the end credit to a video game here. We sit here and give credit to every single person, but the whole point is that every single one of these people contributed to the current success we're seeing right now.
Yes. So Will McClay leads that, but yeah. Now, you see here, Dak Prescott, today the talk of media, the talking fucking heads on ESPN and First Take and FS1, this is stupid. But I have to mention this. I hate talking about this. But real quick, I want to make sure that I do bring it up. Joy Taylor, who I've said is, crap as far as a TV announcer. I know she's a host, but she acknowledged last season the Cowboys did not have enough to make it to the Super Bowl as far as the offense and the team. But now she's saying whatever happens, she will not put the blame on Dak Prescott because she knew the offense around him was not good. That was kind of like the old statement there, right? After Dak Prescott beat the Jets this year, the Jets, the same team that forced Josh Allen to turn over the football 4 times, against the Jets and their defense, Joy Taylor puts all of the blame for the past playoff losses that she literally said is not on Dak. She said today was on Dak Prescott. I mean, that's why they don't even know that they're lying to themselves. They just got to go with what the cool statement is to make and play the other side of the debate. It's just so fucking stupid. I hate that people love it so much. I hate that I have to hear about it so much, but it is part of the circus around the Cowboys team, I guess you can say. And she said that now the issue was Dak Prescott on the reason why the Cowboys could not go to the Super Bowl last year. Literally when this was going on, she said it was because Jerry Jones and the team did not put better players around. Now she's saying it's Dak Prescott from last year's failures. It is insane. And, I wasn't the only one saying that. Again, let me just pause for a second. Because Joy Taylor, when she was talking about the Eagles today, said, quote, well, the Eagles are 2-0, and their new systems are still being put in place. For the Cowboys, she said, hard to say what the Cowboys really are because we played Zach Wilson. This is the bullshit that's getting put out there just about everything, but specifically about our team. It is fucking ignorance. Mr. JK, Mr. J. Ron Curse, retweeted that little clip and said, quote, everybody trying to take a page out of Stephen A. Smith's book, I see. And then Malik Hooker retweeted that with a bunch of laughing emojis and said, facts. It's just goofy as hell. Sorry, Joey Taylor, you are schmucko. You're in the MCF honestly, book of schmucks.
That just sounds like a group of people messing around with each other that obviously feel comfortable enough to mess around with each other a little bit over stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean...
It's not, like I just say, it's not even that serious.
I think it's not serious, but it's also just the fact that they put this dumb shit out there, and they're getting paid big bucks for opinions that are 100% not only wrong but lies. They're lying to the people that are watching that crap. Get out of there. You just watch at YouTube content creators. Watch us at MCF. If you're watching for Cowboy News, do not watch ESPN, FS1, fucking NFL Network, First Take, all that shit. Skip Bayless and his shit. Do not watch any of that garbage. If you want just entertainment, watch it. But if you just want to learn true facts, if you watch that, you're gonna get tricked. They're gonna use you. They're gonna play you. So just throwing it out there. We're finished with the offense now. We're gonna turn the page here in a minute to the defense. Any quick last second thoughts or comments in the chat, baby, before we keep rolling? I know.
Oh, Big Boss Man said Joy learned clickbait takes from Colin Cowherd. So hey,
she does.
Like family, I guess they like to keep it in the family. So Tokyo said, what do you expect? They put false narratives for clicks and they target the Cowboys due to them being popular.
Of course, yeah, they love us.
So yeah, of course, they want to say the type of stuff that gets Cowboy fans, oh, you don't say that about our team, but no, let me tell you all the reasons why you're wrong.
Yeah, no.
That's how they get you.
Yeah, we gotta win a
Simon said it. There's only one way to make sure you don't get involved in that bullshit. He said it. That's why I don't watch that bullshit.
Correct. Myself I come across this Twitter shit, these little clips. I gotta watch it. I gotta see what the fuck they're saying. Just because I want to. I think it's fucking stupid. But I know the reason I have to watch that is because I know a lot of people are gonna post in here about it. They're gonna say, "Did you hear what Joy Taylor said? Did you?" So yeah, I heard it, and it's fucking ignorant. It's the most ignorant shit I ever heard, and it's not anything new. We knew this already here, right? I mean, Simus knows this. If you've been a true Cowboy fan all these years, like OGs, like myself, Simus, and others are, even like you, baby, you're an OG already in a way because you've been a decade in. And I'm telling you, this you see it. You see the bullshit out there just constantly, just pulling out false narratives and swaying conversations pro or against. I don't even care. I don't even watch it. I talked about the power rankings. You know what we say? Fuck the power rankings.
Oh, yeah.
The only power ranking that matters is getting that fucking 6. That's it. Nothing else matters. I don't care. I don't care where we rank. We could rank number 1 the whole fucking year. I don't give a shit. We could rank 32nd, win the Super Bowl. Do I give a fuck? Do I care? No, I don't. We got that 6, and that's the power ranking that matters. So, that's the way I feel. I have to bring up this Joy Taylor fucking scumbaggery. Well, there you go. I did it. There you go. Any last comments here before we flip it over to the defense and dive deep on Dan Quinn's dominating defense? That what was it Mr. Simon said? The Legion of Doomsday, baby.
Hell yeah.
Let's go.
Let me see. I have not bought a Deuce jersey yet, but I must do that at some point. Probably not till next season, though.
If he ever throws his jersey in the crowd and you catch it, it'll fit you, baby.
Well, that's what I said. They're like, you don't even have to do many adjustments.
Yeah. It definitely won't fit me.
Oh, let me see here. Exactly, Simon. He said that power ranking shit. This isn't NCAA.
I know. That's it's someone's opinions on a channel, on a media channel. What the fuck? I don't care about it. It's entertainment. If you look at it that way, that's fine. If you look at it as your facts, man. Well, Simon says about the percentages.
I'll leave all that math stuff to you guys. I'm not very good with the math, but You guys have a good handle on that.
Man.
So.
I'm ready for that sixth. I'm ready for that Super Bowl right now, but we gotta earn it. It's a whole season.
By the way, guys, if you haven't already, make sure to go show some love to the man Simus as well.
Yeah, sub it up to Simus Says. He's dropping a lot of videos, facts in there. I love hearing him. Man, Simus brings it, West Coast style, right? But he's originally from Dallas. He's Dallas representation all the way through and through. So anyways, guys, we got ourselves here the Cowboys who currently have scored the most points in the NFL and allowed the fewest. We also have the best turnover margin at +7 to the first 2 weeks of the season. And in addition to being one of the 5 teams without a giveaway on offense, again, we haven't turned the ball over, no fumbles, no interceptions. Let me knock on wood there. No giveaways in 2 weeks. 2023, this season, is the first time in 64 years, 64 freaking years, that Cowboys football, the Cowboys have not committed any turnovers in the first 2 games of the season. It's been 64 years that we haven't done that in 2 games, the first 2 games of the season. That's crazy numbers, a historic, number right now going forward with this. And this is not about the defense. This is about the offense. But when I want to talk about the defense, it's about, again, I've been saying this for 3 years with him. He is the chess master. He is the guy who really devises and just, really schemes up that defense. So when you talk about quinning, and winning, Cowboy defense's average in sacks and the takeaway since 2021 when he came on board and Micah came on board, the Cowboys get 1 sack every 21 snaps. It doesn't matter if it's a run or a pass. I'm just going to clarify that. 21 snaps. That's like once every 4 drives, we are sacking your ass. No ifs, ands, and buts. And then there's 1 takeaway. The Cowboys will get fumble or interception once every 29 snaps. It doesn't matter if it's a run or a pass. So we're getting a sack. 1 every 4 drives, you're getting a pick 1 every 5 drives. Or a turnover of some sort. So that's fantastic for the Cowboys. And the defense is mind-blowingly dominant. Again, it's only been 2 weeks. But if you look at the weekly potential for this team, I mean, these numbers, you know what these numbers would add up to, baby? 8.5 sacks per game on average for the season. If you were to extrapolate these numbers, 6 takeaways per game. I don't see it getting to that point, but damn, even like 4 takeaways a game. I mean, how can we fucking lose, right? We shouldn't. And again, I'm just saying these are the stats I'm talking about right here that are not even factoring in pressures, which the Cowboys are doing at a statistically insane clip. Right now, guys. Dan Quinn got this shit going. And let me explain when I say that. First and foremost, sack leaders through week 2. Daniel Hunter is number 1 with 4. TJ Watt also has 4. These two players currently have 4 sacks. Josh Allen, Dennis Gardeck, Drake Jackson, Montez Sweat all have 3. Oh, yeah. Along with Micah Parsons and Osa Odigizua. Inside, outside here, guys. We got 6 sacks between Micah and Osa.
Honestly, I'm pretty sure Osa is a little bit ahead of Micah in the sack department. Or are they tied?
They have 3 each.
Okay.
Like, he had 2 the first week against the Giants, Osa.
I keep forgetting that some of those were called tackle for loss instead.
Yeah. Well, no, yeah, but I'm just saying, Osa had 2 first game. Micah had 1 first game. This game against the Jets, Micah had 2. Osa had 1. So when you look at NFL leaders in point differential, of course, Cowboys are +60 right now. The Niners are second. You know what they are? Half of that, +30. Like, we're dominating teams double the rate of the next defense. I guess the next team that, as far as points for versus points against. The Bills at +22, the Ravens +19, Packers and Browns +17. My point is +17 to +22 is basically, 3rd place and worse. And the Niners are +30 right now, which is, a little bit more than the Bills. We're double the Niners. Again, only 2 weeks, but domination nonetheless. The NFL leaders in turnover differential. Cowboys haven't turned it over. We got 7 turnovers. We're +7, number 1 in the league. The Buccaneers are +5, hence why they're 2-0. The Eagles are +4. That's probably why they're 2-0. The Packers are +3. The Niners +3. The Seattle Seahawks and Jaguars also +3. So Cowboys once again. Could this be the 3rd straight season we can dominate the turnovers and the sacks? You know my answer. Now, the pressure rate. Talk about sacks. I talked about the pressure rate. We didn't even include that in the dominating defense once every 24 snaps and 29 snaps. We're getting a sack and interception, a turnover of some sort. But that's not even including how many pressures we're getting. It's like nonstop. It's scary. Like, I watch it, and my heart stops for a second when I see the defense just mauling over the offensive line. And right now, it's looking like run or pass situations. It's starting to look a little bit more like that. After that first drive on the Giants, it's been run defense, run defense, run defense, and they haven't done shit. So when you look at the pressure rate, though, pass rush pressure rate, the leaders right now with a minimum of 29 pass rushing snaps, Josh Uche, 25%. Very good. 1 every 4 rushes, he's getting pressure. Ed Oliver, 23.5. Chase Young, 22.6. Small sample size. He's won 1 game. Dorrance Armstrong, though, he is 4th on this list, 21.9. You know that helps. You know why he's getting all this help, right? Micah Parsons. But Bryce Huff, 21.6. DeMarcus Lawrence in 6th on this list. 6th place, 21.4. Right there with Dorrance Armstrong. Right behind DeMarcus Lawrence in 7th is Micah Parsons, who's at 21.1. Remember, he's getting double and sometimes triple teamed. Then you got Chris Jones at 20.7. Joe Tyron Shanoika at 20.1. And then in 10th place, Osa Odigizua. I'm laughing because 20% pressure rate. 1 every 5 snaps, Osa's getting in your face. Guys, this is a top 10 list. These are the players that have 20% pressure rate per snap, like per game or per the season. They're getting pressure on 20% or more. Osa in 10th place. Micah in 7th. DeMarcus Lawrence in 6th. Dorrance Armstrong in 4th. We have 4 players on one team in the top 10 of the 20, and in that 20% pressure rate. To me, I've never heard of this shit before. Even in 2 games, I've never heard of this shit before. Mind-blowing numbers. Mind-blowing. Now, look, I'm gonna kind of go to, I guess I'll dive a little deeper, but I know that Dan Quinn is really the man responsible for all of these things. We got a couple more things to discuss here before we get to the breakdown of the Cardinals, but Dan Quinn spoke today. And, or I guess he spoke yesterday. Had a couple of real interesting things to say. So, baby, why don't you break it down for me and let me know what Dan, because I know he spoke, but I don't know what he said, so fill me in on the Dan Quinn, on Quinning.
So, he had this to say as far as, Micah Parsons, saying, quote, "He has really worked his butt off this offseason. He's faster, his hands are better, his rushing is better. That jump that you hoped somebody would make, he was intentional about the work that he put in. He's definitely playing better than he ever has, which is saying a lot. You haven't seen it all yet, for sure. His uniqueness does allow us to do things. He's a lot of fun to coach because he's up for whatever challenge you throw at him. He and others have pushed me to find out what they can do." So, and of course, he kind of went into the whole, remember the boxing that Mike has been doing in the offseason and stuff. Quinn added in there, coming in, he was such a mature guy early on as a rookie. I would imagine that he had some of the very fewest mistakes or misassignments, and he was so connected in that way. He came in already above the curve of how he could take it. You see his physical development has changed so much with how his body is, how strong he is. Those are the things he's just added onto his game. From 0 to 60, it goes fast. That's the part that's unique about him. His short area quickness, his ability to stop and start quickly. That's why when there's a space, he can close the distance with quickness. That's one of his superpowers. And it's on full display when we blitz or rush because you feel that energy coming at you.
Complete domination.
And honestly, he makes Micah Parsons sound like equal parts violent dog and equal parts like military missile.
I'll never forget when we drafted him. What was my nickname initially for him when I saw the highlights? Micah the Missile. We see the same thing there, Dan Quinn.
So, but yeah, again, always great to hear from the great Dan Quinn.
And he's speaking about Micah. Is that all he spoke about when it came to Micah?
Yeah,
I think?
That's actually all he spoke about in general. As far as, what's relevant to us right now.
Yeah, so Micah Parsons, guys, you look at him, you're seeing him, this is against the Giants in week 1, just showing what his ability, but also ability to make the other guys win by taking on double and triple teams. But Micah Parsons, so far, guys, this season, has a 93.6 PFF grade. Again, I don't use that as all or nothing. It's just it's a guide. but he's the best in the guide here when it comes to the highest graded. He's the highest graded defender forget about pass rusher. He's the best defensive player graded wise in the NFL right now. Doesn't matter about the sacks and all that. Micah Parsons does more than just sacks. Just telling you. So where Micah Parsons has lined up, and you're seeing him here against the Giants over center, moving all over the place. You see he gets a sack from inside later. You'll see the one sack that's shown here from the first game. You'll see Micah come in there and just quickness. There it is, right there. Just goes back inside. So again, Micah Parsons, where he's lined up the first 2 games in each of his 3 NFL seasons in 2021. Think about this, baby. Starting off his rookie career. His rookie year, he had 49 snaps in the first 2 games on the defensive line, but he had 38 at linebacker, and he even had 3 at cornerback. Last year, he had 95 snaps on the defensive line. That's almost double the defensive line snaps. He had 24 at linebacker, which is a little less, and 1 at cornerback. This year, in the first 2 games, he has 70 on the defensive line and 11 at linebacker, and that's it. But you know what that shows me? They're using him less in a total sense, because again, you add up this stuff here in the beginning, guys. In 2 games, he's got at least 85 snaps or so, 90 snaps in his rookie year in 2 games. In 2022, 95 snaps on the defensive line, 24 at linebacker. That's a lot. He had like 120 snaps, in his second year last year. This year, only 70 on the defensive line and only 11 at linebacker. There's no need to have him overworked. Let's save him to have a better overall season, rather than maybe putters out throughout because of the grind of this stuff, So I like what Dan Quinn is doing with Micah Parsons. It's such an important thing. When you look at the sacks that Micah has done, again, he has 3. He's in second place, tied for second. But, the stats didn't start to 1982, tracking of the sacks. But some teams, and the Cowboys are one of them, recognized pre-1982 sack numbers. They kept tabs on this.
So basically, we have our own kind of internal records in a way.
Yes, and DeMarcus Ware actually broke the record of Harvey Martin.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, so again, what I'm saying, we knew this, though, but he broke it a lot later than the actual record was broken, because DeMarcus Ware has 117 and Harvey Martin has 114. Randy White had 111, and that's the record I think he broke. But just so you know, he also, for our records, the last record he broke was not Randy White's or Ed Too Tall Jones. It was Harvey Martin's on the Cowboy record books. In the NFL record books, it says something different. But again, Randy White 111, Ed Too Tall Jones at 106, Bob Lilly had 95.5 sacks in their careers. For the record, Pro Football Reference keeps track of unofficial sack stats from 1960 and beyond. So they also track it. It happens to be our rookie year in the NFL, right, for our Cowboys. And again, when it comes to the overall leader in the NFL, they're saying that J.J. Watt's still the all-time leader T.J. Watt's the all-time leader for Pittsburgh. But the players, before the 1982 official introduction of those sack numbers, you had, for the Steelers, L.C. Greenwood, who had 78 sacks, Mean Joe Green, 77.5. But the Steelers don't really have the overall numbers, you can say, like other teams do, like our Cowboys do. So when you track it back into the 70s and even into the 60s. So this was being worked on, by the way, for decades, and it's finally been compiled. And again, the Hall of Fame does, again, Pro Football Reference does keep these numbers there, so keep that in mind. Harvey Martin, in a season, still for the Cowboys numbers, has the most sacks in a season. He had 23 sacks, and DeMarcus Ware in 2008 had 20 sacks, beating DeMarcus Ware I guess he had 19.5 sacks a couple years later in 2011. But my point is, Harvey Martin, still for our records, in 1977, 23 sacks. Most seasons leading the team, 8 for DeMarcus Ware. Harvey Martin had 7 years leading the team. And Jethro Pugh had 5, who was 4th place there on the list. Most consecutive seasons leading the team, DeMarcus Ware, of course, 8 years like that. But Jethro Pugh there, 5th, 5 years. Greg Ellis, 5 years. Harvey Martin, 4 years. So again, just the way the Cowboys follow their numbers a little different than the way the league follows numbers. Now, baby, I'm going to start breaking down a breakdown. It's going to be a quick look at the Cardinals here as we're finishing the stream. Make sure that we, make sure we get a couple comments in the chat, and also let's celebrate those that support the channel.
I'm like, before I do that,
not just Dan Quinn.
Gotta remind everybody to hit like, subscribe, hit the bell, follow us anywhere and everywhere at MyCowboysFamily. But more importantly than that, give some love in the chat. to the sponsor of the week, 2 weeks in a row, MyCowboysFamily.
Yeah.
So mahalo to Mark, of course. And bossing that stream around is Jason Renfro.
Still with the Hendershot.
That's right. And of course, they're not the only ones representing, trying to show out and show up on these leaderboards, right? I know SnugX is the current Cash App King 6 weeks in a row, but it looks like someone's coming for that crown.
Right now, the leader is Roger That Asher. Much love to him. I think that Brandon James also in second place there, halfway back. So much love to you. And then, of course, John Montgomery, currently coming for that sponsor of the week, or trying to, in the lead right now over guys like A. Lavelle and Stubby. Much love to you guys. But John Montgomery, first place on the overall board currently, and trying to get that Marco Sepien sponsor of the week. Also, don't forget the gifting membership side of things. We had Rhonda Don Smith. He gave the took over that spot from the Lunatic, and he's repping it this week. So far this week, 0 across the board on the gifting side. So that board is still open for possible takeovers. Mm-hmm. Anyways, much love to everybody. Hit that like, subscribing, notification bell. You know what to do right here, guys. Much love to tonight's drop from Clark Amazing Games from the West Coast. Much love to you. And now let's talk a little bit about our new opponent, guys. Turning the page now fully. And when you look at this Cardinal team, Arizona Cardinals, we're going to maybe talk to my brother here sometime this week. But first, let's break down what they look like after this game. There you go. So when we talk about the Cardinals, Joshua Dobbs is their starting quarterback. They got Clayton Tune, the rookie, as the backup. Running back. We're going to talk about the running back this week a little bit more. When we talk about the offense, I think, is it tomorrow or the next day? James Conner, guys. You're going to want to keep an eye on him. He's going to be one of their weapons for the Cardinals. You got the receivers, right? You got Rondell Moore, Michael Wilson, and Marquise Brown, Hollywood Brown. So they got some weapons there, right? But, they got Joshua Dobbs at quarterback. So that's going to be one of the keys to our defense. Is obviously if they try to throw, you know what to do. We got to stop James Conner. Had a couple good years, but, they will be desperate enough to get him the ball. He did do well the last couple of weeks that he's been, in the league, this season so far. So, but Rondell Moore, Michael Wilson, Marquise Brown. They also have Zach Pascal, Greg Dortch behind those receivers. They're all right player, Marquise Brown, but nothing to me that's scary. Let's put it that way, especially against Trayvon Diggs, Stephon Gilmore, and that pass rush is you're going to get pass rush. You're not going to get many completions to any receivers out there, in my opinion. So we'll see how that goes. You got to also watch the tight ends on the Cardinals. We all know about Zach Ertz. I'm not too worried about Zach Ertz, though, guys. And I'm not saying anything bad about Zach Ertz. I don't worry about Zach Ertz because of this guy right here, J-Ron Curse, who I know spoke today. We'll hear from him shortly. But J-Ron Curse is going to be locking down a little bit of that Zach Ertz situation. I will say one thing, though. Keep in mind one guy on this list, on this team, Trey McBride. The backup tight end, Curse can't cover both of them. Trey McBride, guys, I'm surprised the Cardinals have not added him more into the offensive scheme. I think that's going to be one of the things we're going to break down this week. The second tight end for the Cardinals, key piece, because every time he gets the ball in his hands, every time he gets a target, he's been effective and efficient. So J-Ron Curse can only cover one of these guys, and he's going to cover Zach Ertz. So we're going to talk more about their tight end situation there. Trey McBride definitely helping them in a big way as the second tight end for them, kind of like our Schoonmaker currently. And the last part of things, which is always the most important thing, that's where your quarterback ends up like this, is because of the offensive line. And, of course, the run stop hopefully happens as well, right? So we do both those things. We got to get through the guys like Hajiti Froholt. I'm not sure. He must be from Sweden. He's a center for the Cardinals. They got right guard Will Hernandez, which we've had our scuffles with him at the Giants. And they have left guard Elijah Wilkinson. Then they have a pretty decent left tackle there, DJ Humphreys. Right tackle Paris Johnson Jr. I mean, they have decent players there, but I don't think they have anybody that's going to be able to slow down the pass rush we got or the run stop we got. So I'm looking forward to breaking down this offensive line a little bit more this week and seeing how the Cowboy defense is going to be able to overrun them. Now, defensively for the Cardinals, we talked about Carlos Watkins, former Cowboy. He is looking like he might miss this game. He has a bicep injury. If he does, Dante Stills takes over, possibly Kevin Strong as well. at their nose tackle, Leki Fotu, who I always liked. He's a guy that's got the starting job there in Arizona still. He's going to be able to do enough with Biotish and Zach Martin and Tyler Smith if he play. I mean, you're done. And Jonathan Ledbetter. They run a 3-4 defense. So 3 down linemen. Jonathan Ledbetter is the starter at the other edge. But again, guys, the only backups is Dante Stills and Kevin Strong, and they're going to have to be stronger inside. They want to stop Tony Pollard and this run game. So when you look at the fourth defensive lineman and the linebackers coming in there on the outside, they use that fourth linebacker. 4 linebackers, but one of those are really pass rushers. You got guys in there like Zaven Collins. Zaven Collins is listed as a linebacker, but he's playing the Micah Parsons blitzing pass rusher. So keep in mind, that's going to be their fourth guy in the line of scrimmage. Zaven Collins, a guy we know a lot about from the rookie draft and, a couple of years ago, and Cowboys were looking at him. So he's definitely a damaging type of edge rusher. But again, we have Terrence Steele, Tyron Smith, hopefully everybody in full effect. So that scares me a lot less. Dennis Gardeck is their other outside linebacker. Inside, they have Kazir White and Josh Woods. We'll discuss this more again. They'll have to help out in the run game to slow us down, because if not, game over. They have a couple other guys there, the backups, but to me, that's really where they have to make their mark, is slowing us down with that defensive line and getting into Dak. I just don't see how they're going to get pressure on Dak. I just don't see much of it at all. So when you look at their back end and their corners and safeties, you got Kytrell Clark. I'm going to have to look him up. Antonio Hamilton, as he's in the mix there as the backup. Marco Wilson is their other cornerback, the other starter. Christian Martinez, I think, is their backup as well. And then they have a couple of safeties, Jalen Thompson and Kavon Wallace. That's their starters. No Buda Baker anymore, guys. So they're in trouble. Defensively, they're in trouble. Our offense might be able to not just attack in the red zone, but maybe attack on deeper passes this game and not have to take those chances and those risks. We can't take those chances and those risks against a much weaker, and I do stress the word weaker, defense in the New York Jets. So keep those things in mind, family. And then you look at special teams. Matt Prater was signed back there, and he won the job there for the kicking job for the Cardinals. Punter is Nolan Cooney. Long snapper Aaron Brewer. Whatever. Their returner is Greg Dortch. Small guy, fast guy, quick guy. Got to watch him on the returns. He's also playing some backup receiver. We'll break it all down more this week for sure. And, I'm talking about their kicker and their special teams. I wanted to bring up something about one of our guys, baby, here on special teams. Our kicker, Brandon Aubrey. The most field goals made through week 2 of an NFL season. Brandon Aubrey. Brandon Aubrey has hit 7 of them, guys. 7. Most field goals made through week 2 of a season. In any, in the history, right? Aubrey has 7. The only other guy that got as many was Nick Folk. Then you had a bunch with 6. Jake Elliott, Brett Maher, and Jake Moody. Anything in common that all these guys have? Because out of the top 5, but right now Brandon Aubrey is the top guy on this list. Nick Folk tied with them, former Cowboy. Brett Maher, 4th on this list, former Cowboy. Just saying, guys, a lot of former Cowboys here on this kicking list. We seem to be able to find kickers, and we just can't keep them, whether it's healthy or keep them here. I don't know. We have trouble doing that. So I guess I know that I wanted to kind of break down the referee situation real quick, because we're getting a ref that we do know and actually is in controversy with the Geno Smith call. I'll explain that in a minute. But week 3 referee assignment for the Cowboys, Alex Kemp. We've heard this name before. And I'm sure we'll probably bring him up maybe at the end of the week a little more. But Alex Kemp, his crew is the one that had the most penalties against the road team compared to the home team so far. They've thrown 11 penalties to the away team. So that means us this week. The home team only got 6 in this referee and crew, getting these calls. Last year, Alex Kemp's group slightly called more penalties against the road team. So this maybe is an anomaly. It's heavily favored towards, heavily against the road team, which is us. But his usual MO is it definitely does go against the road team, but not as badly as so far this year has gone. So again, they will call the penalties, this group. All right. The discrepancy is not as large. The discrepancy is not as large between this season and what their usual consistency is. So I think that'll even out for them this year. Now, the reason that they're in the news right now, and I don't know if we've seen this, Geno Smith made a throw to a receiver that made the wrong route. Tyler Lockett went the wrong way. Now, they did score later on in the drive. They had to take a 10-yard penalty for intentional grounding, 15-yard penalty for intentional grounding. Why? Because the referee threw a flag for Geno Smith, kind of throwing the ball where the guy was supposed to be. Tyler Lockett cut the route off, and they threw the flag. So when the Seattle Seahawks quarterback, Geno Smith, felt that it was an inaccurate flag against them for intentional grounding in the third quarter of the game against the Lions this weekend, both he and Pete Carroll were vocal about their discontent. And again, Geno Smith chose the wrong moment to talk, I guess say his part to Alex Kemp, the referee that we're going to see this week. Alex Kemp was announcing the call to everybody, to the cameras, and the referee, you can hear this on a hot mic. If you watch the replay, you can see it. And he said, quote, "I'm talking to America here, excuse me." And and the commentator said it was clearly miscommunication, should not have been a penalty. But Alex Kemp didn't want to hear nothing. So again, this guy is obviously going to throw a flag, and he's going to be stubborn about being wrong about it, which it feels like on this situation. So we got to be extra clean against this refereeing crew and Alex Kemp and this crew here. So again, even Pete Carroll, the coach for the Seahawks, disagreed with the call. Was you can see him shouting, quote, he ran the wrong route. So, yeah, I mean, Geno Smith, Pete Carroll, everyone knew it was the wrong route. The commentators, except for the referee, which is the guy calling our damn game this week. Now, as I'm here at the end of things, I know I'm going to throw in the J-Ron Curse comments, I guess, so we can knock that out. But when you look at some of the things to look at for these Cardinals coming in here, again, the Cowboys have had dominating performances with the Giants and Jets, New York. We're now trying to become 3-0 for the first time since 2019. We're facing a Cardinals team that's 0-2, but they had second-half leads. They lost those leads. And, of course, they were up 20-0 against the Giants. The Cardinals, they wore red last week. They were at home, right? I think they were at home, yeah. They're going to wear red this week, means we're wearing our white jerseys. There you go, in case you were wondering. Dak Prescott, in this game, is going to be his 100th career game in the NFL against these Cardinals in Week 3. Dak is the only player in history with at least 150 touchdown passes and 25 rushing touchdowns in his first 100 games. The only player in NFL mother effing history. And since the start of the 2022 season, since the start of last year, the Cowboys have scored 44 times in the red zone. Even though we're not doing that great this year, that's third most over the span of last season and into this season. In that same time span, the Arizona Cardinals have allowed 49 red zone touchdowns. Now, I'm going to say this. This is why you're going to see the Cowboys attack the red zone. You can see where I'm going to head with this towards the week. I'm going to be talking a lot about attacking the red zone, and it's funny, the red zone against these red birds in Arizona. That is going to be the goal. And I do believe that you're going to see an uptick on those red zone scores and efficiency because we're not playing against a very tough defense overall. And in the red zone, over last year and the 2 games of this season, they've been also atrocious in the red zone. So the Cowboys, I'm telling you, Mike McCarthy's going to attack the red zone more because the defense is not as powerful anymore, and that's great news. Now, when you look at these Cardinals, guys, the first 2 games, the Cardinals have had the tale of 2 halves. They led against Washington 13-10 in the first game in the first half, and they lost 20-16 to the Washington Commanders. They were leading. They're playing the whole NFC East, the Cardinals. Against the Giants, they were up at 20-0. I said they lost that game. They've been outscored in the second half, 41 points to 11 points, the Cardinals. So you know if the second half comes, we drop the bomb on them right there. So Kyler Murray, of course, he's out for this game, still on the reserve PUP list, the PUP list. He still has to miss 2 more games before he can even come back after suffering that torn ACL at the end of last season. The Cardinals have gone with Joshua Dobbs, a mobile, athletic quarterback, as their starter this year so far. He has an 89.5 quarterback rating, 360 passing yards so far this year, 1 touchdown, no interceptions. In his career, which includes 2 starts with the Titans, pretty sure we played him last year, he's 0-4, Joshua Dobbs. The Cowboys also saw a lot of Zach Ertz when he was in Philadelphia. Now he's at the Cardinals. And he's been the most consistent target so far this year for Joshua Dobbs. So again, if you guys are wondering what I'm going to talk about this week, J-Ron Curse slowing down and stopping. Zach Ertz is going to be one of the main things because that is the favorite target in the air, throwing the ball, Joshua Dobbs. And I have no worry about this because J-Ron Curse, when he has been matched up against Zach Ertz, the Eagles, or with the Cardinals, he's locked them down. I'm just letting you guys know. I mean, the Cardinals beat us twice in 3 years. He was locked down, though. Zach Ertz was locked down by J-Ron Kearse, and I expect the same thing this game. So, great news there. And, I think they're major players on offense. The ones that could give us James Conner, stop the run. Ertz, you gotta put Kearse on him. Watch that other running back, McBride. The other tight end. And then you just got to put pressure on Dobbs, which I know we're going to do. We do that, they're not going to be able to get those passes out to Hollywood Brown, and their offense is going to get 0 points, is what I'm trying to say. So I feel good about where we're going with this. You feel my direction when we talk about our defense versus their offense, and you're feeling my direction when we're on offense and against their defense. They have a lot of weaknesses. The red zone is one of their weaknesses. Let's attack it this week and kind of get leveled out there. Much love to Marco Seppian with only the second drop of the night in total, but he dropped that $2 holler. That J. Lou $2 holler. What did the man
say?
Funny,
because he's talking about 3.
Let's do it.
He said 3 games, 3 sucky QBs. I love it.
This is where, again, in the past when we had, much love, Mark, for the drop. And by the way, Jason goes to 87, another tight end, Jake Ferguson.
Yeah.
But, here's the thing. In the past, when we had these quote-unquote easier matchups, and again, weaker quarterbacks, whatever you want to call it, with Kellen Moore, we scrape by. Not every time, but we'd scrape by a lot of the time. Sometimes we'd make games much closer than they should be. Do you guys have a feeling that we've given anything away really in this game? We had a couple bad plays here and there. We got to clean it up. If we did, we would beat these teams by a plus 80, point differential. So to me, it's like the key is what does a Super Bowl type team do against lesser opponents, against opponents that have weaknesses, against opponents that you can say the Giants in the rain or the Jets without Aaron Rodgers. What do teams like that do to those kind of teams? We're supposed to dominate them. And that's what the Cowboys have done so far. And I think they've done it in a way that you can see it'll work against most teams. They're smart about the domination. It's not just Kellen Moore, get the points, and then don't worry about nothing else. It's a complementary type of thing here. That's the difference between these domination games and those fool's gold domination games at old Kellen Moore. You know what I mean? So anyways, that's kind of my thought on that. Much love, Mark. And thank you for the drops of love from above, the 1-2 in the house there. I love it, the board, maybe your thoughts, the chat's thoughts on a couple, any other things in there before we get on out of here. We're on the verge here of clocking out and dropping out for the night.
We're pretty much on the same page here with most of the stuff. Take it easy, by the way. Rolando, Shaquille Oatmeal cracks me up, that name. They said, I might actually pick up Aubrey in one of my leagues. They can move the ball, so it might be a good pickup.
It is a good, and again, the fact that we've shown, quote-unquote, struggling in the red zone, that means field goals be coming. Mm-hmm. So if Aubrey can hit them, then maybe that's a good pickup right there. It depends on who your kicker is as well. But with the Cowboys, I don't think you go wrong with, if as long as he hits his field goals, you can't go wrong with someone like Brandon. He'll definitely get those opportunities for sure. I know Ronaldo's bouncing out, but I'll talk a little bit more if needed. And we definitely hang in here on a little overtime Q&A session here. But I do want to hit up a couple more comments in there. I know you have to discuss again, I'm talking about J-Ron Kearse in coverage. Before we clock it out here, who's covering? Who's he covering? He's covering the tight ends, and the main tight end, Zach Ertz right now. Right? I know Trey McBride. He's kind of under the radar kind of guy, but not the powerhouse playmaker. Let's say more of a playmaker that Zach Ertz is for the Cardinals, especially as a favorite target for Joshua Dobbs. So, baby, what did the guy number 1 with the number 1 jersey, and he's more than earned that jersey in my opinion. What did J-Ron Kearse, baby, have to say about this Jets game and turning the page towards covering Zach Ertz and forget covering him, locking down Darren Waller week 1, locking down the shitty Jet tight ends, and locking down Zach Ertz. And again, remember guys, he's locked down all these guys, the best, the worst. J-Ron Kearse he's a tight end lockdown player on the team, and that's the way Dan Quinn uses him. So, very important role with Dobbs' favorite target, Zach Ertz, there running around. It's going to be up to J-Ron Kearse to stop Zach Ertz and that connection. I think he will. I think he'll get a pick this game. How do you like that, baby? What did J-Ron Kearse say about all of this stuff?
So, as far as, where they're at, where they expect to be, he said this is just the beginning, saying, quote, "It just comes from us doing our job and the offense doing theirs, not putting us in bad situations and vice versa, flipping the field each chance they get."
Again,
I like that phrase, flipping the field. Instead of like turning the ball over or whatever,
Yeah,
it's
flip the field. When you flip the field, you get the pick, you get a turnover, you can...
Not just that, but it implies that you're controlling both sides of the game.
Good point, yeah.
So, I like that. Anyway, Chris went on to add in there, our offense takes care of the ball. They're doing their job. Coach McCarthy is calling the right things and understanding that we have a defense that's opportunistic. And we're going to go out there and make a play, create a play, whatever. I probably just used the wrong word. We're not opportunistic. And then adding in there, we're just the best in business.
Again, I think, just going off of what J-Ron Curse and this defense been doing, it's not just they're dominating teams, they're dominating them right. They know what they're doing and they know how to dominate these teams, which is, in my opinion, still a rare thing. So, in the NFL to do, it's a hard thing to do in the NFL, right? To do this, even against the shittier teams, even teams that are weakened unexpectedly. Oh, and we got a 5 on it by the man Mark Hosepian in the house. Much love to him, baby. What did the man have to say?
Ooh, thank you so much, Mark. He said, we have kicked ass. Cleaned up a few things on the D and O, and no doubt we win the Super Bowl. We have to play a better team to get a good test. 3 bad QBs is a plus. Yeah,
listen, we're going to get... again, when you're going to get quarterbacks, you got Purdy. Is he a good enough quarterback? Because I think, you got to start saying he's a very efficient quarterback, just like Dak Prescott. So, that's something where we will see what happens. I feel good about our defense against any quarterback. And I feel really good about Mike McCarthy pulling the strings for the offense. So I feel good about this, man. I do feel good about this. And, the other thing Mark left off, injuries. Cannot get injury. That's a big stopping point here. It could derail your season. We are deep. And only deep any team can be, So we got it right now, knocking on that wood, because a lot of teams are getting injured. We got to stay healthy the entire season. Much love, Mark. Mark jumps right up to 5th place, just like that. Actually, I tied for 5th with Clark Kent. Much love, big Mark H. Our sponsor of the week, back to back. When they go for the 3-peat, he's already in 5th place on the overall board. So anyways, Curse was speaking. And by the way, Jason Ranford at 82, Jason Witten points. What did number 1, J-Ron Curse, have to say?
Well, we were towards the end of it, but he did have a few more comments, and of course, interceptions, just, they make you feel good. He obviously touched on the fact that we have quite a few under our belt already, and it's only week 2. He said it felt good. It felt really good. My sights were on the end zone at all costs. I was cutting back and everything, just trying to get in the end zone. And I was joking with the guys and saying that it's hard around here to be great by yourself. I get a pick. Then Malik Hooker gets a pick. Then Trayvon Diggs gets a pick. I was laughing like, let me be great by myself. But around here, that's just how things go.
It's hard to do, to be great.
We get the ball.
You can't do that by yourself. It's a team thing, and that's what's great about this team. J-Ron Curse, again, he's describing his comeback on the, running that interception almost all the way back. It was incredible. He kept staying on his feet. You saw Dan Quinn go crazy in the box above. Of course, that drive, the next play, we had a touchdown a couple plays later by Pollard, and that's also the play that Zach Martin got hurt. And that was also a penalty on us, and we only ended up with 3 points because of a penalty. But it happens, right? We played very conservative and safe. I have no problem with that. Our defense got 6 points for our team, earned 6 points, but our offense got 24 on long drives against a good defense. You cannot just overlook that. That would be like Joy Taylor. She's overlooking this shit. She's trying to paint the Cowboys bad no matter what. You can't play both sides of that, Joy. You can't. J-Ron Curse knows it too. He retweeted what she said and said, "You're silly." So did Malik Hooker. Proud of this defensive backfield. Speaking up and being one. As in J-Ron Curse, but one as a team. That's what it's about.
I like that. Yeah. So, and again, I think, let me just make sure that was it from Curse.
Jay Curse.
Actually, no, he did have a little bit more to say. He said, the past 2 years, we've been the best in the business, and we're just trying to continue that. I'm very proud, and that starts with those guys up front. On the first day of the game, Tank gets a tackle for loss to set the tone.
Yep, he did.
And then we put Micah Parsons inside. He's not the heaviest guy, but he's making plays inside. And then you've got Osa, you've got Jonathan
Hankins, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So
and you got others in there. Like Chauncey Golston making some marks in there. You got Dorrance Armstrong. the highest in our team at the pressure rate right now. These guys are doing all this. I mean, it's really J-Ron knows. Everyone knows why we're getting this done. Because of this guy, 1-1, Micah Parsons. But it's a team effort, and by Micah being the catalyst of this, you're seeing everybody else eating. We love it. And J-Ron Kurtz going to not have to just eat and get picks. He's got to cover and delete Zach Ertz against the Cardinals this week. One of our obvious matchups to win, Pass rush, get pressure, stop the run on James Conner, lock down the tight end. That's Joshua Dobbs' favorite target. You do these things, the Cowboys definitely have the resources and players to do that. You win the game by fucking 30. If the offense don't make mistakes, and we can probably take a couple more little chances down the field. Definitely can take more chances in the red zone. I mean, I would not be surprised if we win 30-0. I'm just saying.
It would be very nice to put another 40 burger on them, but yeah.
And this is off the first look. But I do think that this would be the, if we play like we did the last two games, I expect at least 30-0. I know it feels so weird to say that and believe it. Like I feel like I'm not even
not just like
real about
typical maybe like fan goggles on, right?
Yeah, no.
These are our real glasses, guys.
I mean, what do you guys think? As a first look, without even really going towards the breaking down every single little thing, I can feel a 30-0, and I think I'm actually shortchanging the Cowboys. It feels like I'm saying 30-0, and it should be 40-0 against the Cardinals. So again, when I look at their defense, when I look at their offense of the Cardinals, I don't see any fear. I don't see any fear from our side of things. So on that note, guys, I wanted to get the last comments and quotes. I'm not comments and quotes, but comments and thoughts from you guys as we clock out of here for the night. So, baby, let's do those shout-outs / comments.
Let me see. We have Ice Tippler, Matt Persico, of course. Big mahalo to Mark Hovsepian.
Yeah.
Hector Gonon said, "Don't tell anyone I told you this. Our defense is trying to pitch another shutout." I'm sure.
They're mad about the last non-shutout against the Jets. Where one play and then 1 2-minute drill where we just used 4 pass rushers instead of defensive tackles. It cost us 10 points. Okay, well, we learned from this. Much love to Mark Hovsepian once again. Now getting Jason a 77 Tyron Smith points. What did the man say with that $5 holler?
Ooh, he said, "I'm not being a Debbie Downer. I'm just pointing out. We played 2 teams with horrible O-lines and quarterbacks. We played a great Jets defense, but the top was 42-18.
The top. The time of possession. Yeah. No, I know that. And which tells you a lot, right? It means that our scheme, Mark, right? Our scheme on offense works. Forget about Dak's money. Forget about if you think he's worth it or not. Forget if you think Cooper Rush. My point is that this scheme from McCarthy held the ball for 42 minutes against a good Jets defense and weakened them, tired them out. And we scored immediately with 10 points and easily in the first 2 drives against a healthy and not tired Jets defense. So I just think that is the best thing to take from this. I mean, yes, we can say, they had Zach Wilson. True. But Zach Wilson was not, in my opinion, out there, like making the big mistakes early in the game. He made them at the end when things got more desperate, in desperation times. I mean, he didn't throw a pick until, Micah pulled the ball out of Dalvin Cook's hands in the third quarter. So that was like the first turnover of the game, if I'm not mistaken. So when you look at it like that, and Zach Wilson played a really good game for his situation and around the way the Cowboys, on relentless defense. There's only so much you can do. I think the Jets probably should have run more. That's in the coaching. But in the end, yeah, there it is. Jason got it right. 42-13 was the time of possession. That is, that's what I'm looking at here. That's what I'm taking out of the Jets game. We did what we were supposed to do on offense with a good game plan by Mike McCarthy, and Dak handled it 95% well. And then you look at the defenses dominating, and eventually we just break you down and wear you down and kill you. That's what happens. Mark Hovsepian in the house, dropping that 5 on it, saying, "Oh, I'm not complaining at all. I think this team looks much more consistent. Dak's playing good, and the D looks like it has taken a step up with coaching." Mark, we're on the same page, brother. We're on the same page finally, 100%. Right now, guys, I mean, Dak, I even say, right, Mark? I even say that the Cowboys and offense are a little rusty, and Dak Prescott probably is the rustiest right now. And even with that, think about that, right, family? The Cowboys are still blowing teams out, the most efficient. And I'm looking at the analytics now. The most efficient quarterback in the NFL is Dak Prescott. efficient. Now, does it mean the most yards? No. Most passing touchdowns? No. The coolest plays? No. The bombs? No. Don't need that. I think we all can agree, right? We don't need that. Why pull it out if you don't need to? Dak Prescott at the end of the game with Sauce Gardner said, why? Sauce was like, why didn't you throw at me more? And Dak's like, I don't need to. We don't need to. This is Mike McCarthy speaking through Dak Prescott. It's not Kellen Moore saying, let's attack this person no matter who's covering him. Let's attack this and not work. Nah. Now they got analytics team working on this shit. And they, about our opponents, and they're talking to McCarthy. They're talking to Dan Quinn. And on top of that, you got McCarthy's quarterback whisperer abilities to scheme around Dak Prescott quarterbacking. And you got McCarthy laying out a game plan that's going to help us if we lose an offensive lineman. It's going to help us, for Dak Prescott to get, to have a quicker offense, up tempo, get the reads out. I told you guys that whole, 2 second, 2.1 second, 2.2 second release is what Dak's going to do. We talked about it in preseason. I said, watch that happen. You're seeing that happen. Dak gets the ball out quick. He breaks the pocket if needs to. He dumps it down if he needs to. It's all West Coast principles in Kellen Moore's schematics, so to speak. That's what it is, and I think it's working phenomenally against a good defense or a bad defense, right? So I look at that. That's the most inspiring. I know the defense is going to kill even the best quarterbacks, the best offenses out there. I know our defense will dominate them. The way our defense looks, it's scary. We all can agree. And like Mark just said, with the coaching, with the players we got, it doesn't matter if you like the pick or didn't like the pick or like the free agent. The combination of everyone together is what makes this team roll on defense. So that defense, I don't care if we got the Chiefs and Mahomes. I don't care if it was Aaron Rodgers over there. I don't care if it's the greatest freaking offensive line, the Eagles. This defense will collapse you. And I can't wait till we get the Niners and the Eagles. That's going to be the true tests. But there's only a couple left because we're up there with the other teams as the true and real deal teams of this season. So, that's why I see it, Mark. I do think Dak is fitting in perfectly with this scheme. McCarthy's fitting in perfectly with this scheme. The offense is doing what it's supposed to do, what it needs to do. No turnovers, play efficient, and just don't have to overdo it. We don't have to look like Dak's a $40 million quarterback. We can let Dak take control of this team and let him just put up the point. You're going to see it this week. I think you're going to put up more points against a lesser defense, and that's not because Dak is going to be more taking chances. I don't think it has anything to do with Dak. It has to do with Mike McCarthy. Mike McCarthy. It's in his hands. He's got the control, and he's showing us that he knows what he's doing on that field and coaching. So, and Fuego said facts. Tokyo said the Niners game is a real test to see if we are legit or not. Correct. I agree with Tokyo, and I've said this multiple times, right, Tokyo? If we had Kellen Moore, it would have been a one-touchdown game both weeks in a row. We would have beat the Giants by 7, we would have beat the Jets by 7. And Dak would have thrown four interceptions by this point. Not because he sucks, because Kellen Moore's scheme is going to endanger Dak's passing. It's going to force you to throw on 3rd and 13 multiple times a game. In this game, if I'm not mistaken, the worst passing play we Cowboys had that Dak actually threw down the field per Mike McCarthy's scheme was a 3rd and 7. 3rd and 12, 3rd and 13. We ain't going to do that shit. We're not going to take the damaging chances. We're going to keep our third downs to as short as possible. And that's the key to having an efficient offense. And you got someone like Dak in there. He ain't just Cooper Rush. He's efficient. You know who had this similar offense last year, guys? From weeks 2 to 5, 2 to 6, Cooper Rush. Cooper Rush had a similar, not the same thing, but a redone kind of offensive scheme that doesn't fall into the Kellen Moore he never kind of adjusted to Dak being out and having Cooper Rush come in. So what he did was like, I'm just gonna, McCarthy's like, I'm gonna take a couple extra laps. That's a quote. I'm gonna take an extra couple laps with old Kellen Moore, and we're gonna discuss how to go with this thing forward. And with Cooper Rush, everyone's like, Cooper Rush is the answer. No, he ain't. But 4-1 is because of Mike McCarthy. And now you're seeing Dak Prescott in that scheme. You know how the lack of efficiency with Cooper Rush in those 5 weeks was we were the worst quarterback. We had the worst quarterback efficiency and offense in the NFL. We still won because of defense and the right management of the play calling and of management of the offense with the skill set we had on there, which is Cooper Rush. And he still failed us miserably. We won because of McCarthy. But Dak Prescott, now you see Dak in a scheme like this, you're seeing why Dak is miles in front of Cooper Rush. And I don't care if the money's worth it or not. It's worth it if we get wins and get that Super Bowl. We can give Dak $1 million trillion. I don't give a shit. Let's just win a Super Bowl. And if we do it, manage our players that we got right, let's win that Super Bowl tonight. You know what I mean? Let's win that Super Bowl as soon as we can. So, and I know, again, I see Raul saying Kellen Moore is 0-2 right now, and that's not all his fault. The defense broke down. But you know what is his fault? When they're up 11-0 and they still try to pass the ball. I don't care if it's Justin Herbert. I don't care if it's Mahomes. I don't care if it's Joe fucking Montana. You're going to start throwing into these triple coverages and into these zones over and over again. When you're up by 11 in the third, you're up by 14 in the fourth, like we were against the Packers last year. When you're up by 17 in the third against Jacksonville Jaguars last year, and you keep throwing into danger. Eventually, it's going to bite your ass. Eventually, it's going to be tipped. It's going to be dropped. It's going to be a bad pass, a bad decision by the quarterback. That's the Kellen Moore way, and that's why he'll continue to fail. When we play him in Week 6, we're going to wipe the floor with him because Dan Quinn knows what Kellen Moore is going to basically do. Watch. So there you go. Fuego, Tokyo, Bama fan in the house. Exactly. And again, I love Dak, but I know that I trust Mike McCarthy in managing Dak. And Bama fans said we don't need Dak playing hero ball. Now, here's the thing, Bama. When Dak plays hero ball against a non-elite defense, Dak will get that win. Don't be scared. It's okay. But if Dak's playing hero ball, trying to put all the pressure on his shoulders every game, every week, that's a recipe for disaster. Yeah, Brady can do that. Rodgers can do that. You know who's not that? Dak Prescott. He doesn't have to be that. Dak can be the 5th best quarterback in the league. He don't have to be an elite quarterback. That's cool. That's okay. He's not an elite quarterback. That's cool. Still a top 10 guy. Still a guy that's gonna that is, to me, 1 every 4 games is what I give him. One out of every 4 games, give Dak that hero ball ability. He will bring us back or bring in that winning touchdown, I believe, when needed in a game. Now, I don't know about under the scheme, but I know in the past he's shown that. So, but he's also been given that task to win every week on his own with all the pressure on him. That's the Kellen Moore issue. So it's not Dak, it's Kellen Moore. And Fuego said if we focus, do our homework, keep playing as a team while running our routes, winning the Super Bowl. Yeah, I'm not going to win because I always got to say injuries. You always got to avoid injuries and manage it. We're doing it right now. Shit, we don't have Brandon Cooks this week. This past week, we didn't have Tyler Smith for 2 weeks. And the offense is still efficient as fuck. We're getting both guys back this week. Oh, yeah. And then on defense, we're adding Donovan Wilson. We're adding a player who's a fucking close to Pro Bowl player at that safety spot under Dan Quinn in his defensive scheme. We're adding Donovan Wilson. Probably would have helped be the reason why we would have held the Jets to 0 last week if he was in this game. So, my goodness. I'm going to leave it at that. My goodness. Can we really ask for more right now? As fans know, and much love to Dan Quinn for doing it. Now, Tokyo said the difference between Kellen Moore and McCarthy is Kellen just wants points and McCarthy wants to play a game and play safe. I think he plays safe against the tougher defenses. I think he'll attack the Cardinals more this week. Mark my words on that. I think in the red zone you'll see a more attacking defense. But when we play the Niners in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, I don't think we'll attack the red zone as hard as we will against the Cardinals because that's a really good defense in the Niners. So we get our points in other ways and manage it against the right teams. We're safe for a conservative, but we get down the field and put up points, even if it's 5 field goals or 15 points. The offense against the Jets put up 24 points on their own. The other 6 were by the defensive turnovers. We couldn't get touchdowns off of that. So that's something to say about a Jets defense. And again, we put up 10, 18 points by halftime. It wasn't like the Jets were tired. They weren't like dead tired at that point, right? We had 18 of our 30 points already put up on that board. Just saying. Just saying. It's really can't say how special these first 2 weeks out of the next 16 weeks to go and playoffs. So much more to go, but this is a great start for our team. Ice Tippler in the house. Azteca Aguilar beating the Niners in regular season is one thing. And that's the thing. In the playoffs is where it really matters. So if we lose to the Niners, we play well, we lose to the Niners in San Francisco, it may happen. I'm not going to shit that. I'm not going to shit myself. It's the playoffs. We got to come through there, and that's where I think we will come through. That's what the goal is, to beat the Niners and the Eagles in the playoffs. Bama said Dak's good in the regular season. Azteca is getting 100 from Bama fan. Azteca said Purdy had 0 touchdowns. Purdy had 0 touchdowns in the divisional round versus the Cowboys. Only touchdown was McCaffrey. Yep, running the ball. The leading rusher of the NFL right now. The rest of the points were Robbie Gould. Again, if we did that this year, which we could do, we're better than that now, I think, in my opinion, on defense. Especially with the fact that we can stop the run a little better. At least so far we have. That's big. Run game on offense, yes, Bama. Seabass, Aubrey gives you 15 points. He's our kicker. 16 points, actually. extra point as well. That's okay, though. Remember, short fields, red zone failures, safe conservative play, still got 15 points. But the offense brought us to 24 points out of the 30, guys. Dak drove us down the field in the offense in the first drive, got us another 3 after that, and got us another, it was a sputtery drive. We got penalties that helped us, but we got 18 points with 2 minutes to go in the second quarter from the offense, not from the defense, not from the defensive help, which we got in the second half, and they gave us 6 more points. That's great. We got the Micah Parsons strip there, which gave us the long 55-yarder, and then we got the one from J-Ron Curse, who gave us the closer field goal there. That's the defensive That's the defensive points. That's it. That is it. 6. Because the Trayvon Diggs pick and the Malik Hooker pick were way back, and in midfield we didn't get any points from those. So I'm just saying that's big ups to the offense, to Dak, to Mike McCarthy, to even the offensive line. I mean, they got to get a lot of love there because we got 1, 2, and 3 guys out of that starting rotation, and they picked it up well. So good job there. We got Deuce. We'll be using more Deuce, Bama fan. I'm pretty sure every game you'll get 10 snaps from Deuce, at least 10 snaps and maybe 4 or 5 touches. Yeah, we got to bring it into the postseason. It's a long season, right? So 2 games, just the tip of the iceberg. Jason Renfro in the house. Difference between scoring 6 and 3, the holding calls in the red zone. True. That's true, too. So that's just cleaning up a couple things in the red zone. Wanye Thomas playing great in there, working in there. Now Donovan Wilson's going to be back. I mean, we got Wilson, we got Marquise Bell, we got Wanye Thomas, Israel Mukwamu. I mean, that's our depth. That's not even our starters there. With Donovan Wilson, Malik Hooker, and J-Ron Curse. I mean, knocking on wood how good this team is. And Fuego, good night, bro. Take it easy. We're getting out of here, too. Bama fan. We can stay healthy. That's the thing. No drama, healthy. Those are the keys now going forward. Seabass, I know she has an early day again. The schedules are changing. We're trying to go live around 12 midnight, no later than 12:20 like tonight. Trying to do that more often, so we can do the whole stream full effect. But today was a quicker stream. And yeah, I'm just having a little overtime session with the family here right now. Hit the like, hit subscribe, hit the notification bell, guys, and follow us on Twitter at MyCowboysFamily. Much love to everybody in the memberships, Navy Blue Silver Star, and the Over Everything. Much love to those that dropped the love tonight. Like Amazing Games, Mark Hovsepian. Man, I just remembered I got to put Mark up on this board in the higher level because he's moving on up as we get on out. Let me see here. Yeah, Mark is currently, he was tied in 5th, but now he's currently all by himself in 4th place right now. Right behind Stubby. 1085, so I'm fixing the board now. Actually, I'm sorry. He's in 4th place all by himself. Yeah, I said that already. Roger Dad is in 5th, and Clark Mother of Kent is in 6th place on this board. I just fixed it now for you guys in case you were wondering on that. Sorry for the delay. We've got the new emojis on there. Scorpio is dropping them like it's hot. Holding calls cost us, it cost against the Niners. Yep. Some drops by Trayvon Diggs in the end zone. Of course, Dak's interceptions, Kellen Moore's scheme, all that shit, right? Van fan says we need a quarterback. Yeah, I'm good with Dak Prescott. Dak's out of the top 10 in pay. So, I mean, Dak is exactly getting paid what he should get paid now. Franchise quarterback that can handle multiple schemes. That's $40 million nowadays in the NFL. So you guys can't even complain about Dak's pay anymore. Or shouldn't, at least. Now, let me go do the final shout-outs and comments here. Retro Scotty, Jared Morrison, Rolando Rodriguez, Scorpio, Simon Says, always repping it, Jason Renfro, Trapping After Dark, Scorpio, Tim Pinnell, April Showers. Who we got? We got the wife, of course, MCW. Michael Buchanan. Oh, they'll game plan for Micah, but then they got the other guys I mentioned we have 4 guys in the top 10 in the best pressure rates in the NFL. 4 guys. Armstrong, Osa, Micah, and DeMarcus Lawrence. So triple team Micah. We're getting sacks, and their numbers are going to go up even higher. I'm cool with that. And you know who else is cool with that? Micah Parsons. Retro Scotty, have a good night, of course. Hector Colon in the house. Old school fan right there. Thomas A. Garrett, the superior Garrett. Shaquille Oatmeal, repping that star over everything. We got, I think he is, at least. Got those emojis, so drop them. Drop those emojis the way we drop in those Cardinals, right? Because, hey, this week, we talked about the Jets. We're getting trickles from the Jets game just because, you add it up, you put it together, how you doing so far. But, it's only 2 games. But here, on My Cowboys Family, we're going to break into a little more of the Cardinals offense and defense in the next 2 days. So we'll get breaking that down and definitely expand our research on the Cardinals and the details and all the good stuff, X's and O's. But hopefully that's the way they're going to leave when the Cowboys get done with them, especially on their offense. Hey, maybe we'll sling around the fucking stadium like the Angry Birds. Hell yeah, the Angry Redbirds. Red Zone, Redbirds, let's go, Cowboys. Drop those emojis if you got them, by the way. So, let's see. El Fuego, much love. I think we should. Mark Hovsepian. Oh, of course, the man Mark Hovsepian. Appreciate you, sir, today. Ice Tippler. Matt Persico. Christian E. Yeah, Bell. We talked about Bell playing that linebacker spot there, dropping down from safety. Bama fan, Raul. Azteca Aguilar in the house. Scorpio, Bama, Ice Tippler, Xavier, Hidalgo, Go Cowboys, Jason Renfro. We got to play just clean games. Those penalties will be minimally affecting us. Because we'll if we're beating teams by 30, we get a penalty here and there. It ain't going to be the backbreaker. If we're up by 3, that penalty can cost us the fucking game, right? Right. So cleaner game. Keep getting better on that. Stopping the run. Stopping the mobile quarterback, that's the biggest fears on defense, if he's even a fear right now. And then on offense, just get that red zone sharpened up, get Dak a little bit crisper. The only people that can stop the Cowboys are the Cowboys. How about them apples? Tokyo literally just posted, I just looked at the chat and he posted that. Boom, we're all on the same page. The way Mike McCarthy's has got Dak on the same page with him, connected. That's what's going to get us that 6. We got 5. We need that 6 and beyond. Here in MCF, as you see the wife repping it, guys, thank you for dropping it like it's hot tonight. The comments in the chat all night long. A little extra overtime session, a little Cowboys OT chat here with the family. Thank you for that, guys. Again, we'll see you back tomorrow for another one. As the wife and I always ask each other, why do we do this every single night here in My Cowboys Family for an hour and a half, 2 hours and beyond? It's about that navy blue, that silver too, and that star. That star over everything. Win, lose, or draw, good, bad, or ugly. Here on this channel, we always rep it. Rep that star over everything. And here on My Cowboys Family for 6 years and beyond, 7 seasons doing this thing on as far as seasons are concerned. Never forget, here, now, and forever, as always, go Cowboys! Let's get that 6 and beyond. Thank you all for dropping the knowledge in the chat all night long. Cannot do this thing without your guys' love and support and your thoughts about our team. Thank you and truly appreciate your guys' drops of love from above. Again, shout-outs to amazing games pre-stream. Marco Seppian running the stream tonight and moving up this board. Thank you, guys. Everybody. Mark's back-to-back sponsor week, trying to go for a 3-peat. SnugX, 6-peat. 6 weeks in a row, the Cash App King. Although we got Roger That Asher in first place currently, Jason Renfro still got that Ed Too Tall Jones, 72 points on that stream boss. The gifting champ Ron, the Don Smith. Nobody is on the board this week as far as gifting memberships. And the overall leader right now, it's still John Montgomery in first place, trying to take that sponsor of the week back. But hey, it's only night 2. Tomorrow we'll be back for the Wednesday breakdown of the Cardinals' offense or defense. We'll dig into that tomorrow, and then Thursday finish that up. Saturday, Fridays, Fan Fridays. Those, we're gonna do the matchups and kind of keys to victory on Saturday, Sunday. It's game day, baby. I'm ready. Much love to everybody, guys. Drop them like it's hot. You know what I mean. When it comes to the emojis, if you're in the membership, hit the like, subscribe, notification bell, and never, ever forget here before we drop out, clock out for the night as we relock and reload for another show tomorrow. And as the wife always says, never, ever forget before we can drop out for the night, we got to drop the beat. Oh, yeah. Thank you all for rocking with us for the overtime session as well. I hope we were answering and conversing on some good ideas, on your questions and thoughts and comments, and beyond. News, info, updates, you know what we do. Guys, thank you for repping it here. And always remind you, that we always got to do basic math with some of these Eagle fans. Like 5 is always greater than 1. Even more important, it's always cry Eagles cry. Always. Thank you all again. We got 5 on it. We need that 6 and beyond. Here in MCF, another Cowboys chat in the books. The cards are next. And what's in the cards for us this week on Sunday? We will see. J. Ron Kurtz, major piece, locking down Ertz, and he spoke today. Micah, always the piece. Mike McCarthy, Dan Quinn, the mastermind behind all the pieces. And Jerry Jones loves what's going on. Thumbs up, Dak, just dominating in efficiency as far as quarterback and even this offense. You gotta love it. You can't hate it. That make you a hater. You gotta love it. We all love it here. The whole family loves it right here on MCF. Here, never forget, guys, always about that navy blue, that silver too, and that star over everything. And never, ever forget the number one thing here, my Cowboys family. Much love to everyone. We'll see you back here tomorrow for the breakdown sessions on the Cardinals. Hit the like, subscribe to the channel, and grow the family, grow this channel. And, of course, hit that notification bell, guys. Much love to all. Stay safe. Have a good night. Peace. And never, ever forget. Go Cowboys!
Monk on the beat. Monk on the beat.